Hello and welcome to Allan Ray Oval in Ainslie, the inner northern suburb of Canberra, the home of the Ainslie Tricolours in AFL Canberra. But today, NEAFL footy returns to the ground that used to be called Ainslie Oval, now renamed as Allan Ray Oval. And it's great to be back for NEAFL season 2019. My name is Chris Coleman, and alongside me for many games out of Canberra this season, Eddie Williams. Eddie, great to be back at the footy this year.
Chris, good to be with you, and a little bit of fog around Canberra this morning, a bit chilly, but the weather has warmed up and hopefully we'll have the sun out for this match. A great way to get the NEAFL season underway for the Suns and the Demons. Looking at their form in the pre-season, and I know they're keen to get into the real season, the Suns beat Palm Beach but lost to Brisbane by 50 points, while Canberra beat the Giants but lost to Sydney. So a mixed pre-season for both sides. Canberra beat the Gold Coast last season by 29 points last time they played, but the Suns won their previous two matches. All those games were played at Manuka, Chris, so the first meeting for these two sides here in Ainslie is the Demons. They won the toss. They've elected to kick to the right of your screen to the city end. The Suns will be going to the left of screen to the Ainslie end in this first quarter.
This is the only game that the NEAFL Canberra Demons side will be playing here at Allan Ray Oval for the course of the season. Free admission today. Plenty of people have made their way into the ground. They're over on this western side where there is plenty of shelter, although a few people driving in and taking advantage of being able to watch their footy from the cars over on the eastern side of the ground where the scoreboard is located. We have 19 degrees in Canberra. There is very little wind to speak of. I've got a note that says it's blowing as a nor'wester at about 19 kilometres an hour. I haven't seen a breath of wind in about 20 minutes, Eddie, so I'm not sure what's going on. I can tell you, a beautiful day. Footy gets underway here in the ACT for 2019 right now. And to take it away with the first bounce, Eddie Williams.
Josh Maynard on debut for Canberra goes up in ruck. Couldn't win the hit out, but it comes down the way of Maguire. Can't pick it up. Bruce got there. His hand pass was turned over to Young. His first NEAFL game, Aaron Young, but played plenty of AFL games last season. Angus Baker has the footy for the Demons between wing and halfback. He'll go into the corridor looking for Hardy at half forward, but coming in to take the mark there is Leslie for the Gold Coast. Gave it off by hand to Dawson, the captain. Dawson goes out towards the wing to Brodie, and the Suns will look to use the outer side. The kick comes towards half forward. It's off hands. It's over the line, and we'll have a throw in between wing and half forward for the Gold Coast.
Fast start there for the Suns. The ball, I don't think, has gone past the edge of the centre square. Just playing very much across the middle third of the ground here at the moment. As I said, no wind to speak of. For Canberra, several debutants today for the Canberra Demons. Jonathan Spina, Kel Evans, Josh Maynard in the ruck, and Adam Kanash, who we saw in a pre-season game a couple of weeks ago, shows plenty of speed around the place. Ball going back in towards the middle of the ground. It's overrun by Aaron Bruce. Pack forms over the top. Will the ball come free, or will the umpire blow the whistle? The umpire blows the whistle, and blowing the whistle there, we should mention this man, Chris Brackenrigg, the umpire with number 3 on his back in his NEAFL debut. So plenty of debut action today, and he tosses the ball up in the middle of the pack. Was it into the ruck? No, it was Nichols actually getting a hand on it, so we see the ball tap down, comes out of the pack now. Chasing after it is Angus Baker, gets a hand pass in to the middle of nowhere. Plenty of players chasing the Demons. Oh, nearly caught with it over the far side of the ground. Might have been Bud way over in the far corner, but they do rebound now out of attack. Coming around the outer side of the ground, underneath it was Nichols for the Gold Coast. Couldn't take the mark, but the Suns, they return. They've got a free man in the middle of the park. I reckon it might be Mentha. Plenty of free men in the middle of the park. Look at this. Look at the numbers here in the red and yellow. Nichols puts them back into attack. Waiting underneath at the man with the big hair, Braden Crossley, and he takes the mark. Takes it quite comfortably, and I think we're going to get our first shot of the season, Eddie.
Well, he's been described as a cult figure, Chris, and let's see if Braden Crossley can kick the Suns' first goal in their 2019 NEAFL campaign.
He's lining up on about a 45-degree angle. Made the mark look pretty easy. Comes in, puts it on the right foot. Shouldn't miss them from that distance, but he does. He puts it across. Oh, geez. Well, there you go. Talk the guy up, and instantly you put the mockers on him. So the first score of the season here at Allan Ray Oval, and it'll be the Demons to bring the ball out. A long ball too. Target there was Maguire. Eventually gets control of it. They run on with it now. Who's free up the ground, waiting underneath it? I reckon that's Hardy now. Long ball, or long handball. Gets it onto the path of Moline. He's been good for the Demons over the past couple of years since coming across from the Riverina. Vardaninger in the middle of the ground. Wasn't the target. Probably could have been a better option. Instead, they're going to work it across now. It winds up with Paik. Alex Paik, very reliable man for the Demons last year. We're looking to build on that. Puts them into attack for the first time in season 2019. Comes off hands, bounces, and very hotly contested ball right in the forward pocket. Tom Nichols has been busy for the Gold Coast. He was in there over the top. but he couldn't actually do much with it. Kwabi Boke in there as well for the Suns, and it's a ball up just adjacent to the post, tapped to the ground, no clear advantage. Nichols again gets a tap down to Brodie. Brodie tries to clear it outside of 50, getting hands on it for the Canberra Demons was Bud. Bud couldn't do much with it, kicked it towards the boundary line. Ball stays in the field of play here. Hotly contested stuff. Hand pass comes from Day. Gets it out underneath. A couple of teammates waiting for it. Picked up off the ground by Dawson. Dawson then comes on to Young. Young takes a grab just outside 50.
So the Suns looking to reset off the half-back line. Couple of different things to note if you followed the Canberra Demons last season. The playing coach Cade Klemke in the number 10 this year rather than the old number 6. And you'll see Tom Highmore standing on the mark there. Played most of last season in defence, but has made the move into attack this year. Angus Baker takes a mark on the wing for the Demons. He'll look to send them back into attack. Missed out on being drafted last season along with Mitch Maguire. They spent some time training with the Swans ahead of the rookie draft. Baker sends the Demons back inside 50. Suns with numbers at the fall of the ball. They should be able to work it out. Young is there at the side to offer some support. Hand pass now coming inboard as the Suns work this broadcast side of the ground. Brodie couldn't take it. It was turned over by Vardaniga, and now Maguire with the kick inside 50. Lands in the lap of Highmore. Gave it to Powell. Powell off to Roberts. Now Mitch Hardy with the flying shot on goal. It's going to miss to the left. So scores level here at Ainslie, the Demons and the Suns, one behind a piece as we see. We don't see a quick kick in this time, but we will see those new rules on show, Chris, where if you're taking the kick in, you can run out of that goal square without having to play on to yourself. We did call a couple of games last season where players were pinged for the old no ball, where they overstepped the goal square. That won't be an issue in season 2019.
No, indeed. And the other rule changes we should mention, of course, same as the AFL, the 6-6-6 at the start. The 50-metre play on rule is in the NEAFL competition as well, as are the goal square regulations. The hands in the back, as long as you don't push, are okay, and the ball, you can take it out of the ruck, you can grab it and take it. It's not classed as prior opportunity. But you can spot a few of the runners out there in their bright pink outfits today. Runners and water carriers not applicable, not having the same rules applied to them in the NEAFL as in the AFL. So it's the Gold Coast Suns again looking to get the ball out of their own defensive end. I like the effort from the Canberra Demons to bottle the play up at the moment. And we are way over the far side of Allen Ray Oval. A couple of free men inboard, but instead Aaron Young decides to go around the far side into open space. Demons will get onto it first up, but it's House chasing it, but it rolls over the boundary line ahead of him. So we'll get a throw in immediately in front of the scoreboard here in Ainslie. Mount Ainslie is the hill in the background. Plenty of footy teams use that for part of their pre-season training, jogging up there as well. Maynard maybe just getting the best of it in the ruck, but no real clear ascendancy. Potentially high tackle, and no, the umpire goes the other way, says dropping the ball. So the Demons able to rebound. It's into the path of Highmore. He's having a very busy game early. Hotly contested ball, tackle, ball comes free. So that's our second holding the ball decision in the space of a minute. This time it goes the way of the Gold Coast Suns, and it's Dawson who takes care of things. Jacob Dawson, captain for the Gold Coast Suns for today. But again, the Demons cutting them off in the midfield. Plenty of push, plenty of shove, and a good grab. Flying high there is Mitch Hardy. We've seen plenty from him. Decides to play on because he's got a man in space. Waiting there, it's Aaron Bruce. And the skipper, well, we'll have just about the best seat in the house for his shot on goal here, Eddie.
There are probably always two question marks over the Canberra Demons, Chris, and that is their ruck and their forward line. Where do the goals come from? And we know that Mitch Hardy and Aaron Bruce are going to have to kick a lot of the goals this season, with last season's leading goal kicker Ben Fulford no longer with the side. Let's see if Aaron Bruce can open his account.
You're right behind him as he comes in towards the city end, the southern end, if you like. Puts it on the boot. Looks pretty good. And there it is, the first goal of the season for the Canberra Demons, and it goes to the skipper, Aaron Bruce. They lead 1-1-7 over the Gold Coast Suns, 0-1-1.
Well, Aaron Bruce, the captain of the Canberra Demons, leading from the front with that first goal. And great thinking by Mitch Hardy. Not only did he take that strong mark under pressure, a lot of players would have turned their back and gone and had the set shot. He saw that his captain, Aaron Bruce, was in a better position. And when your captain's in a better position, it's a pretty good idea to kick it to them, Chris. So the Demons now with a 6-point lead as Josh Maynard gets ready to do this centre bounce for the Demons. And he'll be right at home here at Ainslie, Chris, a premiership ruckman with Ainslie, looking to test himself at the higher level coming into the NEAFL this season. One of 4 debutants for the Demons today, along with Jonathan Spina, Cal Evans and Adam Kanash.
Never heard of too many players going wrong by doing their skipper a favour. The bounce just stays inside the centre circle. And it's the Gold Coast who pick it up. They take it away via Tom Nichols. He goes for the short ball. Doesn't work out. Rebound once again. And it's the Demons looking to go for 2 in a minute. That's Hardy. Pushed away. Plenty of Suns numbers in the middle. Comes around into the path of Dawson. Again, he's been busy early, but again, he's cut off there. Over there is that Spina on the far side of the ground. It is his first touch that I've called. Ball comes back around, charging through. Maynard now can't do a lot with it, loses the pill. But again, the Demons, they're too strong, too good and too fast in the half-back line at the moment. This is a real strength for this Demons side early. Wonder what the Gold Coast have got that they can throw at it. I can see asking for the ball in the middle of the park is Maynard. Doesn't come towards him. Instead, it goes towards Osborne. Osborne, little chip over the top, finds Hardy. He's cleaned up as though he's standing on a pedestrian crossing in traffic. Ball comes free, and it's over the boundary line for a throw-in. Outer wing side of Ainslie Oval. 7 plays 1, 9.5 gone in the first quarter. Ball back into play. Maynard gets the best of it, but it's plucked out of the air off his hands by Nichols. And once again, the Gold Coast looking to try and escape. They go backwards to go forward, screaming for it. Out in space is Hines. They hear the call from him, and he gets there. And now he's got a free man. He's got a couple of free men up forward. Waiting for it underneath it was Beeman. Beeman couldn't get a grip. Lost it. And once again, the Demons, look at them running in 3s and 4s here. Kick downfield into the forward area comes from Alex Kanash, the man we were talking about earlier, and he's got a boot on him, hasn't he, Eddie? He's put some distance on that. May have been taken in defence, but instead rolls over for a point. The Demons now up by 7.
He looks like the sort of person that needs to spend a little bit more time in the gym, Adam Kanash, but perhaps a bit like the young Geelong player Jordan Clark the other night. He's got a bigger kick on him than you might expect as the Suns look to work the ball out of defence. A good spoil there by Cal Evans for the Demons, and that sees the ball out of play. Evans, one of these 4 debutants for Canberra today, a Mulrooney medalist with the Queanbeyan Tigers last season for the best and fairest in the local AFL Canberra competition. We see Boki there running in to the field of play to take his position in the Suns' defence. Nichols used the body well, took it out of the ruck. That new rule this season gave it off to Nutting. Nutting trying to drive the ball towards Crossley. The umpire has paid a free kick here. Looks like it's going to be a downfield free the way of the Gold Coast Suns, and Sam Day will take the footy. Experienced AFL campaigner. Looks for Young. Young takes the mark. Plays on. Aaron Young from outside 50. Kick smothered. Good play by Paik. It'll still come the Gold Coast's way, though. Picking it up here is Beeman. Beeman into the pocket. Strong defence by the Demons, trying to get the ball over the boundary line. Eventually, they succeed, and the umpire says, let's throw it in. So a boundary throw in just near the left behind post for the Gold Coast Suns. This is their deepest move into attack so far in this match. We've gone more than 11 minutes. It's the Canberra Demons 1-2-8 leading the Gold Coast 1 behind. Paik in ruck against Crossley this time. Not sure either of those are the first choice ruckmen for the Suns and the Demons. No one able to get the clearance here. And we'll have another ball up inside 50 for the Gold Coast.
Indeed, just the second inside 50 for the Gold Coast Suns. The Canberra Demons have had 6. They would have wanted a better return than 1 goal 2 from those. Contested ball. That looks like the man with the hair in Braden Crossley dropping onto his right foot, slams it through from about 15 out on a fairly acute angle. But he gets the Suns' first goal for the season. There's one for your trivia nights later in the year, Suns fans. Braden Crossley, the man with your first goal for season 2019. And we're back to a 1-point ball game as the 12-minute mark approaches here at Ainslie. It's the Demons 1-2-8, the Suns 1-1-7. Mentioned Dawson had been prolific early, leading kick getter on the ground. He has 5 so far on the champion data stats. The leading kick getter for the Demons is Baker with 3.
Braden Crossley, the cult grows, Chris. We mentioned he's a bit of a cult figure. A lot of the Gold Coast fans pretty keen to see the development of Braden Crossley this NEAFL season, and they'll be pleased to see him getting on the scoreboard early and getting quite a bit of the ball when the Suns have been able to go forward. As Nichols prepares to go up in ruck against Paik again this time. So it looks like Alex Paik, who spent most of last season in defence before pinch hitting in the ruck later in the year, will be the Demons' secondary ruckman today, as we see that centre bounce going askew from the circle. So we'll have a redo, and it'll be thrown up this time. Paik and Nichols get ready again. Nichols has got a fair bit of height advantage over Paik, but Paik is able to throw his body around and work the ball forward. Feeds a hand pass out for Carr to run onto. Carr, wearing number 24 this season, is changed over from the number 45. His hand pass couldn't find a teammate, and now a chance for the Suns to rebound off half-back again. They go with a kick towards Mentha, but it's one of his teammates able to drop in and take the mark. So the Suns with the footy just forward of the wing underneath the scoreboard here at the Allen Ray Oval in Ainslie. No mark at half forward. Demons with players around the ball. They're able to get the crumb and get it to Osborne. Osborne goes with a mid-distance kick towards Vardaniga. Couldn't quite drag in the mark. And we'll have a ball up in the corridor. Canberra leading this match by 1 point.
A lot of play in and adjacent to the centre square in this game. So plenty of work for the midfielders. Going to be interesting to see who's got the fitness as the season goes on, or as the game goes on. That was, of course, one of the problems that the Demons did have last year up against the AFL sides in some games in particular. Suns getting away with this now as they've got a man in space in the corner of the square. They come over to the grandstand side. Not a great deal of players around there. Charging onto it eventually is Elijah Saman. That's one of the more unusual names that we've called. A Gold Coast Academy product, and getting a kick away, but it rebounds again. Osborne, been busy. Left foot it down towards the attacking 50, waiting underneath it as Bruce. It goes over his head, tapped to his own advantage by Fall. He's got a bit of time if he can get a grab on it, but he's going too fast for his own good and charges the ball out over the boundary line in the forward pocket, make it about 40 around from goal. Southern end of the ground here. We are calling from just outside the 50-metre arc there, and we do have to lean out the window just a little to see this part of the ground. Ball comes back into play. Nichols gets the two-handed tap down into the path of Brodie. Brodie muscled off the ball. Plenty of Demons players in there. Quick hand pass from Osborne again. Gets it on to Pollock. Pollock puts the snap forward, but waiting underneath it for the Gold Coast Suns in defence. Couldn't pick who it was actually down
Graham,
there.
I think.
It was a Graham. It looked like him, but they've rebounded again. They're very, very quick. And they've gone for the shift of play again over to the far side of the ground, and the wind has now finally picked up as they bring it back in, and it is Graham. Could go to Hines, instead goes longer than that to Brodie, so electing to switch it over to the near side of the ground. Brodie, he's off, he stops, he's off again, goes to a 2-on-1, and for the Demons, Don Roberts decides he doesn't really need to do much with it, just taps it out over the boundary line, and then goes in for a bit of a getting to know you shuffle with Jack Mentha. Jack says, I'm from Victoria, where are you from? Roberts says, I'm a Demons man and I'm proud of it. Tap away, comes back towards Roberts again, but it's the Gold Coast who take it away through Michael Riscatelli, 236 AFL games and looking to get to 250, but doing a bit of time here in the NEAFL at the moment. Rebound for the Demons. It's Baker. Baker pops it over to Richardson. Richardson able to go for a run. Goes for the short ball. It falls to the ground, and once again, well, no real advantage for them. The Demons see it come away through Dawson, the Gold Coast Suns captain, with a little hand pass. But again, quick change of fortune. Hand pass from the Demons. Now it's with Roberts again. Roberts, he's got plenty of options on his outside. Through a couple of hand passes and waiting for it over on the grandstand side. In space is Bud. Bud can't do much with it. Puts it to the ground. Was looking there for Vardaniga, who was charging through. That man picks it up now. Oh, beautiful little hand pass. I mean, it may have been a no-look job. Send it over to Moline. Moline looks into the forward line. He had Hardy. Hardy can't take it first grab. Gets it off the ground. Turns around. Puts it on the left foot and says, bang, goal. Nice play.
Demons using the corridor a lot, as you mentioned, Chris. Last season we saw them tending to use the outer side of the ground and trying to go the long way around. It looks like, and I know it's only early in this match, it looks like they're trying to use the corridor a bit more. It looks like Mitch Hardy may be one of those marking targets, and even if he's not able to take the mark, they know he's got the agility and the skill to be able to crumb his own ball, bring the ball to ground, and as we see there, the perfect snap on goal gives the Demons now that 7-point lead.
I know it's a cliche, but the shortest way to goal is straight up the middle of the park. And corridor footy, I'm a big fan of corridor footy, so let's just see if it can continue. Of course, a reminder, you can get in touch with us via Twitter during the course of the game and make your comments as well via the hashtag NEAFL Demons Suns. Feel free to tweet and let us know your observations, and especially to any of the Gold Coast fans watching from up there in Queensland. If you want to let us know a bit about some of your boys, we're more than happy to take the tips and advice on board as ball comes back into play. And was that Maynard down there resting in the forward line? I think it might have, in the back line rather, and I think it might have been, and the ball is now going to trickle over the boundary line. It'll be a throw in about 50 around from the Gold Coast Suns goal. 17 and a half gone, and it's the Demons 2-2-14, the Suns 1-1-7 at Ainslie.
So we'll have a boundary throw in. Suns into attack as we get closer to time on in this opening quarter. It'll be Maynard and Crossley to go at it in ruck. Crossley takes front position, knocks it towards the front of the pack, and he's got plenty of teammates there. The kick now comes, well, it was aimed at the top of the goal square, but it goes out of bounds on the full, so it'll be a Canberra Demons free kick in the back pocket in the last line of defence. We should mention Tom Highmore, number 35, one of the new co-vice captains for the Canberra Demons, playing his 50th NEAFL game today at the age of just 21. I think he made his debut back when he was 15.
He was only a youngster.
Not with the Demons, but back when Canberra had multiple teams in the NEAFL, and I believe he lined up with Eastlake. As the Suns intercept the ball on the wing, it was Hines there with a hurried kick. Couldn't find a teammate, but Crossley was able to snaffle the ball. He was dispossessed. The Suns continue to move the ball forward. They've got it just inside 50. Umpire says no 15. Osborne lays a big tackle, and we'll have a ball up inside 50 for the Gold Coast, who trail by 7 points, nearly 19 minutes gone in the opening quarter here at Allen Ray Oval in Ainslie. Umpire throws it up. Crossley winning the hit out again, but it's socked out of defence by the Demons. Boakey is waiting. The ball doesn't get quite that far. Fall picks it up. He dishes off the hand pass, and now the Demons have a whole heap of space. Hand pass comes over the top now. It looks like Richardson has the footy on the wing, or should I say that's Pollock. Pollock kicks inside 50. He's got Highmore. Can Highmore run onto the ball? He soccers it forwards. Suns getting back in numbers. There are 3 Suns there, and they're able to mop up. They work the ball out of defence, and here's McDonald taking a mark on the half-back flank. McDonald goes to the wing. He's got Young. Young takes the mark. Aaron Young, 22 AFL games last season. Today making his NEAFL debut with the Gold Coast. He just pokes it short as the Suns look to absorb a little bit of pressure and just steady things down. That kick's not great. House was waiting at the back for the Demons. Carr's there as well. The umpire has paid a free kick for a hold. It'll go Canberra's way. Looks like that might be Lucas Moline taking the free kick off the half-back flank. He thought about sending the ball to the wing. He's called to play on. Goes with a very low ball. Finds his target as the Demons do use the outer side on this occasion. The kick was towards Kanash. He couldn't get there in time. The Suns cut it off, and now they'll look to use the corridor.
They do, and it's Jez McLennan. Pops a hand pass back to Kwabi Boakey. Okay, not too many Ghanaians I've ever called playing in any AFL competition. Oh, absolutely crunched in there. It's the young man Jake Hines, one of the Southport top-up players for the Gold Coast Suns. Welcome to the Suns. Pops a little hand pass back to Boakey, who's probably slightly clearer in the head than him, but can't do much with the kick. And once again, it's the Demons on the burst. Now, who's waiting up the ground here? Waiting in front, it was Maguire, but ball didn't quite make it to him. So the ball, it's going to come back once again to Hines. Hines goes to ground, tries to get a hand pass away while he's sitting down. Umpire says he's been legged.
Canberra free here. Canberra free for taking the legs.
Really?
Contact below the knees.
Okay, so it's gone the other way. The Demons surging forward, 21 minutes gone, and it's Highmore putting the ball up into the goal square. Fall was underneath it, but the ball falls to Dirk Conan, and Conan sends it around on the outer side of the ground. Now, waiting in there is Vardaniga for the Demons, but again, they're getting oh, geez, look at this. Bud now picks it up for the Demons. They've got so many numbers. I have to call for a head count here. Screaming for it is Evans, but the short ball instead is directed to Powell. He's just outside 50, and he gives it to, well, if you've got a target in Maguire, why wouldn't you? One of the top players in the NEAFL last season.
Won the Demons best and fairest, won the league rising star. If you look through the Canberra Demons stats for last season, you will see Mitch Maguire's name at the top of almost all of them. He ran on to the field off the bench before Chris and was in an acre of space. The ball just couldn't quite get to him, but it's got to him now inside 50.
Well, kick from just inside the 50. Roosts it high. The wind might push it a little to the left, but he's allowed for that, and he's got it through. And Mitch Maguire, a name we called plenty of on NEAFL TV last season, gets his name in the book for his first goal for season 29-19, and the Demons move on to 3-2-20. The Suns 1-1-7, 22 minutes and 22 seconds gone in the first quarter, and Maguire, that would be his third kick for the day. Some of the leading kick getters for this game so far, Eddie?
Well, 11 disposals for Angus Baker for the Demons and 7 for Tom Highmore. Jacob Dawson leads the way for the Gold Coast with 9. Aaron Young has had 6, and if you're an opposition coach coming to Canberra, Canberra. If there's one player you'd want to try and stop, it's Mitch Maguire. We know how damaging he can be. Hasn't been able to get his hands on the ball an enormous amount. He's still picked up those 5 disposals, but hitting the scoreboard, a very important player for the Canberra Demons in season 2019. As we're back in the centre with Maynard and Nichols. Nichols won it down, and the Suns will get a clean centre clearance here. They can't find a target inside 50. The umpire's paid a free kick for a push. It will go Gold Coast's way.
Yeah, Jackson Brumley was the man. He got set.
Called to play on. His kick is touched by the man on the mark. It ends up with a teammate. So still an opportunity here now for Mentha. Mentha runs himself into trouble. Dispossessed. Umpire calls play on. Highmore gets in low for the Demons. Fed the hand pass out. Now the kick will come towards Pollock. It's knocked away from Pollock. Will the ball get to the boundary line? It's going to stay in. It does stay in. Kept in play there by Dawson. He's racking up plenty of disposals in this first quarter. But the Demons have won it back. Baker's kick is towards Moline. Moline and Bokey there. In comes Hardy. Hardy feeds the hand pass off to Pollock. Pollock's been busy in the past few minutes. His kick isn't as accurate as he would have liked, and it's chopped off by Jacob Heron, a man who made his AFL debut in China, Chris.
Not too many people on that list, and great to see him here this afternoon. Heron looks for Nichols. Nichols, the ruckman, comes in, picks up a kick. Goes around, looking on the far side of the ground for a teammate. Instead, finds the line, and it'll be another throw in. 24 gone, so it won't be too much longer before the siren, you would imagine, here.
Haven't been too many goals, so we won't expect a quarter going anything like 35 minutes.
No real stoppages either today. Brody in front of the ruck contest. There comes Nichols and Maynard. I don't think either of them got a hand on it. The ball continues to roll and roll and roll. Almost makes it to the centre square. And it's the Demons on the rebound again. Now, who are they waiting for underneath it? We've got Fall. No. Oh, he just lets it fall into his arms. Fall by name, Fall by nature. Goal time for the Demons. They move on to 4-2-20. Well, they nearly made a hash of it, and then, well, instead they're feasting on it. 4-2-26 to 1-1-7.
Tom Fall has a self-belief that a lot of other forwards don't have. When the ball comes inside 50, or to be honest, inside 70, Tom Fall believes he can get it and he can kick the goal, and that's exactly what he did. So the Demons have 4 in this first quarter. We've played 25 minutes. Canberra 4-2-26. The Suns with that solitary goal, 1-1-7. Braden Crossley, the only goal scorer so far for the Gold Coast. Bruce, Maguire, Hardy, and now Fall hitting the scoreboard for Canberra. And I sound like a broken record, but I come back to that question we always have. Where do Canberra's goals come from? They always need that spread of goal kickers, and we've seen it from their 3 probably key forwards in Bruce, Fall and Hardy, and their best midfielder in Maguire hitting the scoreboard as well. The playing coach, Cade Klemke, will be pretty happy with what he's seen so far in this opening quarter as the Suns win another clearance. But Klemke, there he is, that playing coach, feeds the hand pass back to Baker. Baker goes to House. House dribbles it towards Maguire. It ended up a little bit high, but he still was able to take it. Gave it to Paik. Paik's kick to the wing is to a 2-on-2 contest. Pollock did well. He's played well the past few minutes. Puts the hand pass out in front of Hardy. Hardy had Powell, ignored him. Just goes with a very high ball. It's going to favour probably Bokey. In the end, Bokey left it for a teammate. Moline's there for Canberra. Moline absorbs some pressure. Dribbles it towards Powell. Powell can't quite pick it up. The ball's in dispute. Close to goal for Canberra. Here comes Hardy again. And he's kicked the goal.
Oh, goal of the day. Goal of the day. Hardy showing the value in following it up. And that goal, Eddie, comes from the other end of the ground and just from some superb play by Mitch Maguire. We saw him kick a goal just a minute ago at the southern end of the ground. Then the Suns got a clearance. The ball was in dispute. It bounced around and there was a ball that came in Maguire's direction that lesser players would have really struggled to do anything with. He managed to get a handle on it and they just turned it into attack and worked it all the way up the ground. And the rewards of playing through to the whistle there shown for Mitch Hardy. He just waited there underneath it and got the goal on the snapshot. Now, I'm seeing a man coming off for the Gold Coast Suns as well.
Connor Nutting getting a bit of attention. Looks like he's taking the boot off, so it could be a foot or perhaps an ankle problem.
Was brought off in the arms draped over the shoulders of 2 trainers, so that will be a problem for the Gold Coast Suns. They had to name a couple of Southport top-up players for today, so they're a little bit under what will be their maximum strength for this NEAFL competition this year. And if they've lost another player early today, that'll be very difficult for them. They trail at the moment by 25. It's the Demons 32, the Suns 7.
as the Suns look to rebound off half-back. Going in hard as Roberts. He's thrown his body into the contest in this first quarter. Wouldn't have high disposal numbers, but the coach will be happy with the pressure that he's shown. The Suns work it towards half-forward. It's knocked down Canberra's way. They've got the numbers around the contest. It was Baker who fed the hand pass to Richardson. Richardson goes short to Jared Osborne, who takes the mark in front of the Gold Coast interchange bench. Osborne looking to kick forward of the wing towards Highmore. Bounce through to Hardy. Might have been taken high. Umpire called play on. Spills to Maguire. Maguire goes inside 50. Kanash in best position just goes over his head. He got a fingertip on it. And we'll have a boundary throw in inside 50 for Canberra.
Reminiscent of... not to the same skill level, but reminiscent of Hawthorn in the 80s and Brisbane in those premiership years, where the way that the Demons today are running in 3s and 4s. There's pods. There's
You've
3 or 4s.
early, Chris.
I'm just saying, in playing style, they're 3s and 4s, and they've got numbers of the ball, and they're leaving the Gold Coast behind on multiple occasions, as has happened again here. Once again, it's Maguire putting them with a snapshot deep into attack, but it goes on the right-hand side of the goalpost, and it's a minor score, 5-3. 33 for the Demons now. 1-1-7, 29 gone in the opening quarter of NEAFL season 2019. And there might be Day over on the far side of the ground. Short ball goes to ground once again, and the Demons, well, can they jag one more late? No, they can't at the moment, because charging away with it for them is Beeman for the Suns. And now he puts them back into attack. That might be the man Crosley putting them further into attack now. There's only one player from each side. Well, make it now. This is what I was talking about, Eddie. There's 5 Demons to 1 Sun inside the Suns attacking 50. And the Demons, well, they could have just raffled it off. They had time to sell tickets, get the lottery permit and everything. Goes with Connor Owen Orban. He now puts it on to Bud. Bud, shortish ball. Target in the forward 50 was Highmore, but he was bumped out of it in the marking contest. And instead the Suns come up with it and they bring it around towards Dawson. Dawson can take a moment to settle. Maybe the Gold Coast need to start doing that instead of playing on so quickly. Elijah Saman gets a hand pass away. Quick one underneath to Mentha. Mentha in towards the middle of the ground. Underneath it for the Suns was Day. Took it on his knees as the 30-minute mark ticks up on the clock. They go around to the forward flank. Evan McLennan was the target, but it makes very little difference because that is the quarter-time siren, and a great first quarter for the season for the Canberra Demons. Not so hot for the Gold Coast Suns. The Demons 5-3-33, the Suns 1-1-7. Eddie, quick thoughts on the first quarter?
The Canberra Demons have certainly come out to play, Chris. They've been very direct when they go forward. I've liked the look of Baker and Osborne rebounding off half-back. Maynard has toiled hard in the ruck, and the forward line functioning really well. Bruce, Hardy and Fall all hitting the scoreboard. From a Gold Coast perspective, been very impressed with the captain, Jacob Dawson, and his work off half-back. Braden Crossley has been good. He's their only goal kicker. I thought Aaron Young had a good quarter as well. But at quarter time, it is the Demons 5-3-33, leading the Suns 1-1-7. Well, quarter time here at Ainslie, and it's the Canberra Demons leading by 26 points, 5-3, 33, plays 1-1-7. Late in that quarter, we saw the Gold Coast's Connor Nutting come from the ground. Appeared to have some sort of issue with his right foot or right ankle. He did a little bit of a fitness test at quarter time there, Chris, as you may have seen, and was testing it out, going for a bit of a walk, then for a bit of a jog.
Seems to be better jogging than walking, which is interesting.
So, look, we'll wait and see whether we see much more or any more of Connor Nutting in the remaining 3 quarters. That would be a big blow for the Gold Coast to be a man down as they go into quarter time trailing by 26 points. And we know that the way the NEAFL works, where the non-AFL sides like Canberra are able to have that 23rd player, suddenly they'll be having 2 extra players on the bench if Nutting isn't able to get back on the field after the break.
Indeed, you just keep an eye on him and see if he makes his way off. I think he's coming
wandering off.
Yeah.
He is jogging off. He did make his way back to the huddle, so he's looking better. He's having a bit of a jog. It's just a matter of whether they think it's worthwhile him being on the ground or whether they decide to take the precaution early in the season.
Yeah, it's always difficult early in the season with a player who's picked up a bump or a twist of a joint or whatever.
He's taken a seat he was taking a seat on the bench, but he's picked up the footy. He's kicking it to himself, so I reckon he's pretty eager to get back on the ground. We'll keep an eye on Connor Nutting and whether we see any more of him in this match.
A quick look at the stats, the leading disposals for Canberra. It's Baker with 12 disposals, 4 kicks and 8 hand passes. Maguire picked up plenty late in the quarter, 6 kicks, 3 hand passes for a total of 9. Couple of marks in there as well for him. And Highmore has 8, which is 4 and 4 for the Gold Coast. Dawson, 12 disposals, 9 of them by foot. Brodie has 8, 5 of those by foot. Riscatelli and Young, 6 apiece, and they're both divided to 3 and 3. The inside 50s for the Gold Coast, just 7 for the Canberra Demons, 16, and the rebound 50s for the Gold Coast, 11, the Canberra Demons 6. And the score as we start the second quarter, it is the home side off to a pretty good start for their NEAFL campaign for 2019, 5-3-33. The visiting Gold Coast Suns 1-1-7.
As the umpire waits for the fans to get off the ground, who've been enjoying kick to kick a little longer than perhaps they should have. It looks like they're all clear. The fence is being closed and the umpire ready to bounce the ball to start the second quarter. A mixture of youth and experience with our umpires today. We've got one umpire on debut, and we've got Nick McGuinness, who umpired the AFLW Grand Final last week. Not quite as big a crowd here today, but he says he's still got a job to do, and every match is just as important. Maguire with a hand pass towards Evans, turned over, so a chance for the Gold Coast early. The kick is towards Boakey, bounces away from him. House can't gather. In comes Boakey, gets tackled, got tackled high. He did. It's a free kick to Kwabi Boakey for the Gold Coast. He's got a man onto handball too, but Helse did well on the mark. Helse gave it to Evans. Evans goes with the kick into the corridor. It was aimed at Highmore, goes through his hands. Kanash was at the back, can't gather. Highmore lays a good tackle, fall through his body in. Powell with a big tackle as well, holding the ball. Jack Powell. We know he's a high-pressure player for the Demons, and he wins a free kick. Wants to get the ball moving quickly. Tom Highmore, just a little slow to get up. He has gotten up now as Powell kicks into the pocket. Couple of Suns defenders get in the way. They knock the ball towards the boundary line. Hardy lays a tackle. He's got Maguire there in support. We'll have a ball up inside 50 for Canberra.
Something we didn't see a lot of in the first quarter was the Gold Coast with the numerical ascendancy in a contest, but they did on that occasion, 2-on-1. So they've broken down the Canberra Demons attack, and our man Connor Nutting, who we've been keeping an eye on, he's back on the bench now, and they're strapping his foot around the outside of his boot. So that suggests to me that they want to try and get him back out there. But if they're putting the strapping outside the boot, this early in the season, I don't know, maybe you're better off letting the guy rest and get better, but look, they need to do something because they're down by 26 at the moment, the Suns, and, they're going to break away through the grandstand side. They don't have too many targets up forward, and as you can see, the ball goes over the top. Hand passed away by Ben King. Then courtesy of a teammate, gets the ball across, and now it's with Day. Day can't hang on to it, and Paik, doing the job in defence, decides not to hang on to the ball. Smart play from Paik. It gets pushed back in towards him. Then he goes for a hand pass, which was aimed for Riley Budd. Budd may have just had his one of his studs stick there for a moment because he suddenly stopped and the ball sailed over the boundary line. So it'll be a throw-in. 40 around from the Gold Coast Suns goal. 2 minutes gone in this second quarter. Ball back into play. Tapped away by Nichols, who's probably had the best of the ruck battles across the course of the day. It's the one area that the Suns have really had the ascendancy. But again, ball sharked by the Canberra Demons, and it winds up with Tom Highmore. Highmore goes with the right foot option. Who's he got up forward? Well, Evans is one of them. And in the end, no one from the Demons goes for it. Flying for the Suns, there were two. There was McLennan and there was Heron. And Heron, rather appropriately, flies and gets the ball and sends the Gold Coast Suns back into attack. 3-on-1. Good grab. Good mark taken for the Gold Coast Suns by King. Starting to show some of the reasons why he was a top 10 AFL draft pick. Puts the ball into attack from Mentha. Mentha takes the shot on goal from just outside the top of the square, and I think he's got one. The Gold Coast Suns have their second for the day, and they close the gap just a smidgen. It's a 20-point ball game now with the Suns 2-1-13, the Demons 5-3-33.
Well, a much better start for the Gold Coast, and Ben King set up that goal. He's a player to watch. A big mark there. 202 centimetres tall. He was the number 6 draft pick for the Suns in last year's AFL National Draft. So it's very much a player for Gold Coast Suns fans to keep an eye on, and he could be one we see making his AFL debut a little later in the season. They've got a lot of tools today, the Gold Coast. Sometimes you can go in with too many tools. He's 202 centimetres. He's very agile for someone who's that tall. He seemingly can play all over the ground. We know they've got Nichols in the ruck. We know Crossley pinch hit it in the ruck earlier. Plenty of tall options for the Gold Coast, and Ben King, certainly a player to keep an eye on. The two talls in the middle here are Josh Maynard for the Canberra Demons and Tom Nichols for the Suns. The umpire is not happy with that bounce. It'll be recalled. We'll have a throw-up with Nichols and Maynard to go at it again. Maynard making an interesting starting position there, starting a little closer to the line than his opponent, although he moved back that time. Maynard took it out of the ruck. His kick was smothered. It comes the Gold Coast's way temporarily. Owen Orban able to drag the footy in. He's tackled. Probably didn't have prior opportunity. The umpire says he didn't. We will have another ball up inside the centre square, slightly the Canberra Demons forward half of the ground. Maynard and Nichols to go at it again. Nichols won that one down. It comes out to Young. Young stripped of the footy. Picked up by Owen Orban. Owen Orban sends it inside 50, but Hines is waiting back for the Gold Coast. Can't take it cleanly. Maguire's there too. Powell, it's a very short kick. Bruce is throwing his body around. Powell's waiting for the ball to come out, but it won't. We'll have a ball up inside 50 for Canberra.
It flies around the honeypot stuff at the moment. Lots of players around the ball. Eddie mentioned before the talls for the Gold Coast. It's sunny here now, but we had a fairly cloudy morning and a few light showers over the course of the morning here in the nation's capital. So the ground may have been just a little bit greasy early as well, which may have contributed to some of the difficulty getting a grip on the ball that we saw earlier. But now that we've had a bit of sunshine in the last hour, I expect the ball handling to get a wee bit better, and that may help the Gold Coast as this game progresses. They've kept the Canberra Demons scoreless for the first 5.5 of this quarter, and now, well, if they can get the ball away here, they're on the chance. But once again, it's the Demons on the rebound. Maguire taking the just gets the ball away into the path of Pollock. Pollock on his outside gets to a teammate, then is onto, I think it's Hardy. Ball going into the forward line, and it dribbles and dribbles and rolls and is allowed through for a point before it bounces over the white picket fence that surrounds this ground. And the Demons go on to 5-4-34. The Suns 2-1-13. The Gold Coast can reset here. If they can get a man into space, they'll be doing nicely, and they do get a man into space, but oh dear. The kick was aimed at McLennan, but it was about 5 metres too short, and expertly read by Connor Owen Orban.
All the way off the boot, it looked like that kick was going to end up with Connor Owen Orban, and it did, and he's been pretty good early in this second quarter. He'll be hoping to get on the scoreboard here. The Demons scoreless through the first 6 minutes of the second term.
Pretty easy kick here. Wind's dropped away again. Got to put a bit on it because he kicked from outside 50. It starts off to the right and comes off hands. Now we've got a whistle.
Gold Coast free by the look of it. It is.
It is indeed. Gold Coast for the infringement down there in the teeth of goal. And now they've got numbers here. Got Brodie as a possible target. Oh, this is smart, going with handballs. Plenty of players in space for them. Now waiting underneath it. King off the back of the pack, and it comes towards him, but further off the back of the pack was Bud for the Demons, and once again he picks it up off the ground, gives it to Richardson. Ball comes back around on the inside. Now it's Baker, I suspect. Yep, Baker in there. They've lost the pill. Contested in the middle. Gold Coast will come away with it. Have they got anyone up forward? Nope. There's only 2 players inside the forward 50 for the Gold Coast. That's one of them is Klemke. For the Demons. The other one, by the way, if you're wondering, was Alex Kanash, who's over this side of the ground. So the Demons, numbers on the ball, round the far side. A little bit of push and shove for the contest. Tom Fall was the man who was who it was intended for. But instead, the ball falls short, comes off hands, and again is over the line for a throw-in on the outer side of the ground. 7.5 minutes gone here. The Suns have added 1 goal. The Demons have added 1 point. Jared Osborne, a man who did plenty in the first quarter, has had an extended break. He makes his way back on from the interchange gates now and charges all the way across to the other side of the ground to try and get involved in the play. But it's the Suns again going on attack. Problem is, you've got to actually have someone to kick it to inside your forward 50 if you're going to put the ball there. Instead, it's the Demons who can come away with it. Now, Osborne, he could have gone for a run. There was nobody in front of him. Instead, goes for the pass to another man who's on his own, in Reece Pollock. Pollock with a little handball finds Baker. Baker pops it over the top to Maguire. Danger, danger. Oh, the kick from Maguire is ill-directed, though. He was looking for Kel Evans. And it's been cut off, and the Gold Coast will come back with it. They've got McLennan. He was on his own. He very cleverly blocks the traffic, and it's the man with the hair, Crosley. Crosley sends the ball forward, finds Nutting. Now, this will be interesting. You'll see his right foot is taped. He's twisted that ankle early in the proceedings. He's going to go for a run. Oh. He kicks it. His kick is smothered, so we don't get any real gauge as to whether he's got any power left. And the Demons, they're going to come back with it. Quick 1-2, 1-2, and it's Kanash. Kanash sends the ball over to the far side of the ground. Waiting for it is Moline. Has he changed his hairstyle in the off-season? I think he may have.
Sharpened up the beard as well.
Yeah, that's...
Tom Highmore's cut off his man bun. It's very confusing.
Oh, look, it's always the way in round one. You've got to get used to guys with different hairdos. Baker with the hand pass back into the path of Moline. Moline decides to go the physical route instead of playing the ball, and the ball winds up back with the Gold Coast. And on the rebound, I mean, that might be Seaman over the far side of the ground. But again, it's the Demons who come up with it through Richardson. And then on to Bud. Bud with the clearing kick. Oh, flying there. I reckon that might be Nichols over there, but he couldn't take the mark, and it's off his hands. And again, out of bounds for a boundary throw in nearly 10 minutes gone here. We've had just 1 goal in this quarter, but the Demons still lead. They're 21 up, 34-13.
Dawson and Hines really doing a good job for the Gold Coast, rebounding off half-back and keeping them in this contest in the second quarter. Nichols takes it out of the ruck. He's tackled immediately, and the umpire calls a free kick. It'll go Tom Nichols' way. It might have been taken high in that contest. So Nichols, the big ruckman for the Gold Coast Suns, just waits, decides to go back to Leslie. Leslie marks in front of Tom Fall. They'll look to switch here. He goes towards Hines, racking up plenty of disposals in this second quarter. Hines bounces the ball through to McLennan. McLennan, his kick smothered. A lot of smothers by the Demons. Klemke picks it up, the playing coach. Hands it off to Pollock. Pollock's hand pass is for the captain in Bruce. It doesn't quite get to him, so Pollock has to go again. Bruce applies the bump and makes sure the ball goes out of play, and then he decides to give James Moore a bit of a push. The umpire says, don't do that again, but I won't pay a free kick. We'll have a boundary throw-in between wing and half forward for Canberra. Paik doing the ruck here. Got his way in front, knocked it down to Owen Orban. Owen Orban's hand pass comes free. It was meant for Osborne, but intercepted by Dawson, the Gold Coast captain. Now we have a big pack of players over the ball, and we'll see another stoppage between wing and half forward for Canberra, who lead this match by 21 points. We've gone nearly 11 minutes in the second quarter. Nichols winning another hit out. Osborne on hands and knees. I don't think that ball's going to come free. We'll get another stoppage. We're seeing more stoppages in this quarter, Chris. It looked like the Demons early were wanting to play a more free-flowing style of game, and the Suns perhaps making the contest more contested in this second quarter. Evans sends Canberra inside 50. Couldn't find anyone on the full. Bruce went in hard. Maguire lays a tackle. Owen Orban fed the hand pass out, but it's all Suns. They clear the ball into the corridor. The race is on. Klemke had to lay a tackle. Evans can't quite get to the footy. Osborne missed it. Highmore lays a tackle as well. Still at Highmore near the ball. Picks it up. Drags it under the contest. And we'll have a ball up just outside the centre square. Broadcast side of the ground after the Suns did most of the attacking early in this quarter. The Demons starting to press hard as Paik and Nichols go at it again. Nichols knocked it down, but Moline gets the crumb, bursts through the pack, gives it to Powell. Powell feeds it to Fall. Fall gets around one. He'll have a shot here. Tom Fall off the left, blazes away and puts it out of bounds.
You said before that he backs himself inside the forward 70, and I liked that how you said he got around one, goes to go around a second. It was the same bloke. He got around him once and said, well, I've nutmegged you once, I'm going to have another go. And the shot at goal went to the left of the uprights, but the throw-in will take place 10 around from the goals that the Demons are targeting. Comes off the hands of the pack. It's down with Powell. Powell puts the ball almost further up. Indeed, it did go further up than it went forward. Off the hands of the Packets with now Pollock. Pollock takes the snap and hits the post 3/4 of the way up. Well, the Gold Coast Suns will be thanking their lucky stars there that it's only a point. The Demons move on to 5-5-35. The Suns 2-1-13. 13-minute mark approaching, and it's now Jez McLennan. Can honestly say I've never called a player called Jez in footy before. Now it goes to Connor Nutting. Nutting unable to do much with it. It's off the hands and it comes towards Bud. Bud turns around, rebounding, looking for Pake in the middle of the ground in those bright pink boots. He can't get to it. Off the hands, picked away by Saman. Saman then gives it to Day. Day with the hand pass to the outside. Riscatelli. We had a quieter game than he would be liking, Michael Riscatelli, but he's put the Suns into attack. Only as far as Vardaniga, though, for the Demons, and he turns around. Pops it towards Pollock. Reece Pollock has it. He has Osborne calling for it on the inside, instead goes on the outside. Well, if you've got the choice between Osborne and Maguire, with the greatest respect to Osborne, I'd probably go to Maguire myself. Problem is I probably wouldn't be able to kick it that accurately. Maguire waits, called to play on by the umpire. Over into the middle of the park. And is that Osborne who's got it now? I think it might be. So he's run on. Smart play. Looking up forward. Oh! Centimetre perfect, but a ball just can't quite go into the hands of Evans. But he's continued to fight on. Goes for the kick and gets tackled for the second time. Oh, geez, how many chances does he want? Now it's a hand pass. It comes down towards the other man with the hair. The other member of the Hair Bear bunch in Mitch Hardy. He takes the shot, but it's just offline for a point. Oh! Exciting stuff. Gee, they're hard to pick from a distance too, aren't they, Evans and Hardy?
Yeah, it's a good thing they wear 15 and 16. It really
that really accentuates the difference. Yeah. 1 point for the Demons. They go to 36. The Suns 13. 14 gone.
And the Demons will go back into attack. It's Baker with the long kick towards full forward. Evans in the contest again. It'll come out the back. It'll be dribbled towards goal and away for a minor score. In fact, it hit the left behind post there. So we'll have a boundary throw in. That's not a bad result for the Demons, who are pressing in this quarter. Just the one goal that they've added since quarter time, but they're doing most of the attacking over these past few minutes. Pake and Nichols in ruck. The Suns able to clear, but it'll only be for a short moment because tracking the ball back is Angus Baker. It bounces away from him. He gathers, treads water for a moment. Angus Baker had plenty of the ball early. Kicks towards half forward. Kick didn't do Kanash any favours, and the Suns should be able to rebound off half back. The Gold Coast just looking to absorb a bit of pressure. They've had the game a bit more on their terms in this quarter, more contested ball, and they've looked a little bit more composed with ball in hand. They're just chipping it around in the back pocket, and they've chipped it around one too many times. They've put it out of bounds on the full.
Oh dear.
So now an opportunity for Canberra.
It's as far as you can get from us here.
A very acute angle to be having a shot from. It always is when the ball's kicked out of bounds on the full. Looks like this is going to miss to the right there from Tom Highmore in game number 50. So another behind for the Demons. They've been a little inaccurate in this second term. They tick up to 5-7-37. The Suns 2-1-13 as the Gold Coast getting play moving quickly. The kick comes towards the wing. It was meant for Brumley. Couldn't take the mark. And another chance for the Demons. Here's Harry Carr. Runs away from Nutting. Carr sends it inside 50 without any real direction. Bit of a chaos ball. Fall. Put a bit of pressure on. It was out towards Pake. Pake can't keep it in, and we'll have a boundary throw in inside 50 for Canberra.
Just one other game underway in the NEAFL at the moment. Give you that round the ground score. Sydney Uni 6-4-40 at Blacktown International Sports Park. They lead Aspley 1-3-9, and that game about halfway through the second quarter, similar stage to this one. Ball back into the field of play. It's the Gold Coast who get the best of it, but waiting there at the fall of the ball is Maguire. However, it only goes back into the pack. Umpire says, I've picked out a high tackle there. And it's going to go the Gold Coast's way. Very hard to pick a player from the top of his head as to who it was the recipient of the kick. So they go further forward through Beeman, just to the back end of the square. Now he comes around to the man who got the free, and that was Mentha. Mentha sending the ball forward. We've got a whistle. And this will be a downfield free kick going to the Gold Coast Suns. It'll be Saman who takes it.
He's lifted in this second quarter, Elijah Samar.
Richardson didn't want to give up custody of the ball, but eventually it's with Saman. Ball into a contest in the forward line, and that's a good grab. Good solid pack mark there. A couple of Canberra Demons players down. Just get you to keep an eye on them, Eddie, as we await the shot here.
It was Paik that went down, but he looks okay.
Like Day. So he's going with the right foot. Slightly awkward looking kick. Seemed to stutter on the way through, but it doesn't matter. He's directed it between the big sticks, and Sam Day gets his first for the afternoon. The Gold Coast get their third for the afternoon, and it's now an 18-point margin. The Gold Coast Suns 3-1-19. The Demons 5-7-37. So since quarter time, the Suns have added 2 goals. The Demons have added 4 points, and that is where we're at now with an 18-point margin. We saw this a couple of times last year from the Demons, Eddie, in NEAFL action, where they'd have a prolific quarter and then things would go a little bit quiet. Yeah,
much better quarter here from the Suns, and as we say, starting to have the game played on their terms. More contested footy. We've seen they haven't allowed Canberra to use the corridor as much in this quarter, and then they've defended a little better. They've been able to get numbers to the contest when the Demons have gone inside 50. Maynard won it down to the back of the pack to Maguire. A very high kick from Maguire. I was going to say it would be too hard to mark, but Connor Nutting does well to get in and take it on the chest. He's playing with some strapping on his lower right leg, but looks to be okay in this second quarter after going off injured late in the first term. Riscatelli with the ball for the Suns. Near half forward, slips over, gives the hand pass off. Can't keep the ball in play, so we'll have a boundary throw in 70 metres around from the goal that the Suns are attacking, going to the right of your screen in this second quarter to the City end. The Demons kicking to the left of screen to the Ainslie end, and well, we have 6-6-6 rules in play this year, Chris, for starting positions, but there is currently no one inside the Demons forward 50 and only 4 players in the Demons forward half the ground as the Suns go into attack, but Angus Baker back with the flight, takes a nice mark. A lot of the footy early for Baker. He gave it to Klemke, who gives it to Paik. Alex Paik looks at the outer wing, spots Maguire, who runs in to take the mark on the half-back flank. Feeds the hand pass over the top to Baker. Baker kicks it out in front of Moline, and Moline
did well.
Low down, takes a nice grab there. Lucas Moline from Leighton Witten goes into the corridor. The kick comes to Powell. Powell fumbles. Crossley dives in. He's tackled. Umpire says we'll have a ball up inside the centre square. Slightly defensive side of the middle for the Canberra Demons as Crossley goes up in ruck against Maynard. Crossley won it down, and Riscatelli with the clearance. Inside 50. Pretty open forward line here for the Suns. If King can pick up the footy, he does. He's tackled. He gets the hand pass out, but Helse is there. He fumbled. He regathered. Got around his opponent and gave it back to Klemke. Clever hand pass there from Cade Klemke. Run onto his own ball. Gives it to Evans. Evans gives it off to his running teammate in Pollock. Pollock's kick is for Kanash, and Kanash can't quite take the mark. Suns get there in numbers. Hand pass from Heron into the corridor. So another chance for the Suns to go forward. The kick is not well directed. Richardson was underneath it, but he was knocked off the ball. Boakey, he can't take it. Paik gives it to Klemke under enormous pressure. Fed it back to Baker. Baker to Helse. Helse goes by a hand, and a chance now for Carr to calm things down and kick the Demons out of defence. The kick was towards Bruce. It was knocked away from him. We'll have a boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the Suns out side of the ground.
The Gold Coast have decided to play a much closer physical game, and that is making life difficult for the home side at the moment. Ball to be thrown in adjacent to the centre square. No one gets on top of it. Gold Coast, maybe, I think it was Brodie, spun through 360, but there's plenty of blue and yellow jerseys. And now the Mosquito fleet for the Canberra Demons, able to try and do something with it. It comes back into the middle of the ground, picked up off the turf by Kanash. Kanash pops it over, finds Osborne. Osborne has a teammate. He's got a Gold Coast player riding piggyback on him, and the Gold Coast, they've got it again, coming now around towards Riscatelli. Riscatelli, short ball over to the far side of the ground. Who have they got up forward for them? Well, they've got to get the ball there first. We've got a whistle. Umpire is saying play on advantage. So if they're smart, they're going to be able to get the ball to Brumley, who is out there in space, but instead they go down the wing, and it's Klemke. Puts it off to a teammate, gets it back, has time. Looks right, hand passes left, gives it to Maynard. Maynard into the path of Osborne. Osborne tackled. We're right on the 50-metre arc here. Now it's Boakey for the Gold Coast. Boakey instantly tackled by Richardson. A few other players join in the stacks on the mill, and the umpire will ball it up. 22 and a half gone, second quarter. The Demons yet to add a major since the interval. The Gold Coast get the next one. It'll get very, very interesting in a real hurry here. Ball comes away from the ruck contest. It's Hardy who's trying to do something with it, so we saw plenty of Hardy in the forward line in the first quarter. And now, has he been called for a throw there? I think he may have been. So the umpire said you tapped it away, but you had your hand open. The palm was upwards, the fingers were extended. Textbook definition of a throw according to the umpire. So it'll be Lockie McDonald, the beneficiary of the free kick. Pretty acute angle, but you've got a good seat in the house here on NEAFL TV as he comes in. He'll be kicking from about 40. Puts it off, starts it off to the right, and it makes absolutely no diversion. Continues off to the right, and is a minor score. The Suns move on to 3-2-20. 17 points adrift of the Canberra Demons, 5-1-37. Plenty of players calling for the ball on the grandstand side, and eventually that's where the kick goes. Vardaniga flies, can't take it, comes off the hands. Hardy, the man trying to get it, cops a little nudge, so the ball back in under the pack. 1-2. Only 3 players involved there, but umpire Nick McGuinness comes in to ball it up again. We've mentioned Chris Brackenrig, umpire number 3 on his debut. Nick McGuinness out there. The other umpire in number 9 is Sam Nipris. Now, on the burst go the Demons, and it goes in fairly quick succession from Kel Evans across to Tom Highmore, and now it makes its way with Maguire. Maguire, well, he just kicks it into the wide open spaces. Tom Fall will have to dispossess a Gold Coast player. He does that. That's the easy bit. Oh, instead of going it for himself, he gives it to Evans. Evans finds a teammate in Pollock. Bang! Goal from 5 metres out directly in front. Gee, you don't want to miss those, and he's put it through.
They look incredibly good with ball in hand, the Canberra Demons. Their midfield working really well in this quarter. They just haven't been able to make the most of their opportunities, and good play there by Tom Fall inside 50. He could have tried to take the shot himself, as
Surprised
we know he sometimes likes to do. Saw there were 2 teammates in better positions, and Reece Pollock, who's been very impressive so far in this match, Chris. He's had 11 disposals as we get towards half-time. He gets on the scoreboard, and he gets what is the Demons' first goal of this quarter. 6-7-43. Canberra leading the Gold Coast Suns 3-2-20.
Yeah, Champion Data Stats have 9 Canberra Demons players into double digits for disposals. For the Gold Coast Suns, it's just 4. No surprise who the leading kick getter on the ground is now.
Is it Maguire?
It is Mitch Maguire. 13 kicks for the game so far. And in fact, with 13 kicks, he has more...
the umpire's gone down.
Umpire's gone down. Ball back in play. We'll come back to that stat about Maguire at half-time here as the Gold Coast go into attack, tapping the ball forward to his own advantage. I think that might be Day over the top of it. He can't do much with it. It's actually Brodie. The ball comes out. It's back to Crosley. Puts a high ball down towards the goals. Waiting underneath it was Brumley, but the boundary line is where the ball goes first. Now that's come off hands, not out on the full. So the pack must have flown and helped the ball across the line. So we'll get a throw in. Gold Coast to be happy with that result. Waiting underneath it. Maynard and Nichols. Nichols maybe plays a little for the free kick. Eventually gets it, puts it toward the ball. That is not the free kick. Gives it to Beeman. Beeman's kick is cut off. Rebound from the Canberra Demons, though, only gets as far as Jez McLennan.
There's going to be a free kick. It's going to come inside 50 for the Gold Coast. It's going to go the way of Tom Nichols, and it looked like Josh Maynard has been pinged here. Maybe a bit of contact off the ball. Well, in fact, it's not going to Nichols. It'll be a downfield free.
Okay. So this has happened after the ruck contest.
The ball was with McLennan, and McLennan will be brought forward to where we think Maynard may have made a bit of contact off the footy against Tom Nichols.
The former Central District.
That's the best guess we can
come up with. Yes.
Happy to be proven wrong on that.
The former Central District Bulldog. Gee, I hope that's right. But they're the Bulldogs. Anyway, he's
on debut, so this would be his first goal with the Suns in the NEAFL.
He's going to kick from the hot spot from 35 out, straight in front. There's a couple of Canberra players trying to distract him. Looks pretty ordinary. It's off to the right, and it's only 1 point. The goals have suddenly had a premium put upon them. We had 6 in the first quarter, but we've had just 3 in the second term here at Ainslie. That point for the Suns takes them to 3-3-21. The Demons just slightly more than double that. They have 6-7-43, and it's Baker to bring the ball back into play. They work around the far side of the ground. Moline was the target, but instead it's in the path of Roberts. Roberts brought to ground. Plenty of players in competition for the pill. I think it was Moline who may have actually got the ball away. It's socket off the ground. Clean bowls Maguire, turns around, picks it up behind himself. Quick hand pass then onto the path of Richardson. Richardson, who's he got up forward? Well, absolutely nobody. So we'll wait and see who can get to it. Gold Coast Suns, I reckon there might be Leslie who got it, then lost it, put it towards Kanash. Kanash puts it down in the path of Highmore. Highmore can't do much with it, and instead for the Canberra Demons, they've got the goal. Who's the opportunist? Who is the opportunist down there? Is it Pollock? It is indeed.
With 2 goals late in the quarter.
Well, there we go. He's come in from absolutely nowhere, has Pollock. And he joins Mitch Hardy with 2 goals in this round 1 NEAFL fixture for the Canberra Demons. They're 7-7-49, the Suns 3-3-21. 28.5 gone, second quarter.
Once again, we see Mitch Maguire able to get his hands on the ball at half-back and help the Demons work the ball forwards. And won't Jez McLennan be ruining that missed opportunity? A gift late in the quarter, a free kick off the ball and a relatively straightforward set shot at goal. He couldn't convert. The Demons take it up the other end and suddenly they get the late goal and they take some momentum as we get close to half-time.
Does that count as an 11-point goal then? Because instead of the 12-pointer, but because they got the 1 point, does it become an 11-pointer? An effective 11-pointer?
Yeah, an 11-point play, we'll call it.
Okay,
that
we'll go
set
with
of
that.
bounce went a bit askew.
Just a little.
So we're going to have it thrown up inside the centre circle. Nichols palms it down. Paik throws his body in. We'll have a ball up, still inside the centre square. More than 29 minutes played. Canberra 7-7-49. The Suns 3-3-21. Nichols takes it out of the ruck. He kicks towards a teammate, but Richardson did well there to knock the ball away. Osborne gives it to Evans. Evans to Richardson. Perhaps a chance for another late goal for Canberra. Highmore in good position. Too far out to score. Goes by hand to Osborne. Osborne hand passes forwards. It'll end up with Kanash. Like the look of him in his first game for the Demons, a former Swans Academy player. He kicks towards full forward. But the Suns getting back with numbers and able to take a bit of pressure off late in this quarter. They'll just look to chip it around on this broadcast side of the ground. Jacob Heron takes the mark. He pokes it short towards Young. Young marks in front of Vardaniga. He's got a man short in Beeman. That's where he goes, just inside the field of play. Beeman. Well, there's the halftime siren and a great first half by the Canberra Demons. 7 goals to 3. It's the Demons 7-7-49 leading the Gold Coast 3-3-21. For Canberra, Mitch Hardy and Reece Pollock both have 2 goals with singles to Aaron Bruce, Mitch Maguire and Tom Fall. While for the Gold Coast, it's all singles. Sam Day, Braden Crossley and Jake Menther, their goal scorers in this first half.
Quick check of some of the stats I was mentioning before about Maguire. He has 13 kicks for the day. 13 kicks is actually more in kicks than the entire Gold Coast side have in disposals individually, other than Brody, who has 15 disposals. So that shows how much of the ball Maguire has had on this day so far. In overall disposals, the leading man on the ground is Baker. 22 disposals, 14 of those are hand passes. Maguire, his 13 kicks contributing to 20 disposals. Osborne, 17, that's 8 kicks. Klemke has 11 hand passes in his 14 disposals. Not bad for the playing coach. And Pollock and Highmore have a dozen each, as does Powell. For the Gold Coast Suns, there's only 4 players in double digits disposals. Brody, 9 kicks as part of his 15. Dawson has 9 kicks, making up part of his 12. Young has 5 kicks and 12 disposals all up. And Riscatelli, 7 kicks, 4 hand passes, making up 11 disposals. The inside 50s, Gold Coast 18, Canberra 27. The rebound 50s, Gold Coast 20, the Canberra Demons 15. And we should probably have a quick look at the hit outs there. Yeah, the Gold Coast, if Canberra can find just a little bit extra in the ruck this season, it'll really cover things up, because at the moment the Gold Coast Suns, they're winning the hitouts and they're winning them comfortably 25-9, and that is contributing to a clearance lead of 25-18. So something for Cade Klemke to think about, but right now he'd be going in pretty happy. The coach of the Gold Coast Suns, Nick Malcheski, well, he'll be happy with how that quarter started, but I reckon probably not quite as gleeful about the last 5 minutes. But it is half-time here in round 1 NEAFL action, and it is the Canberra Demons leading 7-7-49. The Gold Coast Suns 3-3-21. Eddie Williams and Chris Coleman bringing you all the action. We'll be back for the second half soon here on NEAFL TV. The players back out on the surface of Allan Ray Oval for the second half of this round one NEAFL clash for 2019 between the Canberra Demons and the Gold Coast Suns. The Demons with a handy lead, 7-7-49 over the Suns, 3-3-21. And Eddie Williams, if you were Nick Malcheski, the Gold Coast Suns coach, I'll get some thoughts on what you would have said at half-time. For mine, if I was Kate Klemke, I would have said more of the same, but let's just try and keep the ball out of congestion for the Canberra Demons. We'll get your thoughts in a second, but ball back down in the middle of the ground, and, well, we'll get a secondary bounce there because that's, well, despite Mitch Maguire taking it on the full, a pretty ordinary restart.
If I was Nick Malcheski, I'd have been pretty happy with the way the Suns started that second quarter. They created more contested footy. They prevented the Demons from using the corridor as much as they had early. So Malcheski will be after more of what the Suns delivered early in that second quarter before they let the Demons back in with a couple of late goals. As we see Matt Vardaniga get the hand pass free, but the ball is back over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in with the Suns going to the left of your screen in this third quarter, while the Demons are kicking to the city end to the right of screen. It's notable, Chris, the two leading disposal getters to half-time are Mitch Maguire and Angus Baker. They were two players that narrowly missed out on being drafted. They were both training with the Sydney Swans ahead of the rookie draft, and I think they've got a bit of a point to prove in season 2019 as the Suns work it inside 50. And they should be able to get a shot on goal here from around 50 out, and it's the experienced campaigner Sam Day who's got the footy.
Sam Day, a player, if you use the phrase hip and shoulder around most players, they'll think about a tackle. With Sam Day, it's two serious injuries. He did a hip at one stage and a shoulder at the other. He still managed 100 games at the top level in the AFL. And going in for his second goal today. So
Sam Day to give the Suns the perfect start to this third quarter. He goes off the right from 50 and he's shanked it. That one won't have the distance. It's way out to the right. Knockdown comes to Klemke. Klemke goes by hand. Vardaniga's nearby waiting to receive it. It doesn't get through to him. Nutting takes the ball. Manages to get some sort of disposal away. Vardaniga picks it up. He's brought to ground. Ball spilt out to Evans, and Evans hand passed it towards the boundary line. Pollock was there, and the Demons able to work the footy by hand back towards the corridor. Maguire was there. Now here's Baker, those two leading disposal winners. Baker's kick is towards half forward. It didn't really favour Kanash, but Carr now with a chance to pick up the ball. He's tackled, coughs it up. Evans goes again. Still Carr. Hand pass comes out the back. Boki takes it for the Suns. He's tackled. He can't get it free. Eventually the ball spilled out to McLennan, and the Suns able to move the footy towards the wing. So we're seeing the ball going between the two half-forward lines to start this third quarter. Klemke allowed himself to be nudged out of the contest, but then Nutting couldn't take the mark. Good pressure by the playing coach there in Klemke. The ball bobbling around in the forward pocket. Klemke gets it again. Plenty of hand passes for Cade Klemke so far in this match. In goes Evans. Demons with the footy between wing and half back. Maline's kick is smothered, so another opportunity for the Suns, although it came back to Maline, who gave it to Maguire. Maguire wins his own footy again. He's tackled. The umpire calls play on. Roberts is dispossessed. Comes out to Hines. Hines feeds it out the back. Good pressure by Canberra, and the Demons win a free for holding the ball.
You see some of those that are 50-50, and some of them are pretty obvious in that one, no doubt about it. Holding the ball on the Demons. They've got plenty of options. They've got Pakin short, but I think it'll be the long ball. Well, in the end, it's just the shorter ball on the outer side of the ground. Would that be Hardy?
I think it's Evans.
It's hard to pick. It is indeed Evans. I can tell you. Give you a tip here, Eddie. Evans has got the strapping on the shoulder, so we'll go with that for future reference. Now, the Gold Coast, they bring it around to the coverage side with Tom Nichols. He waits. He's got Harry Carr in front of him. He's calling for someone to come in short. Umpire says to play on. The Demons don't put a great deal of extra pressure on him. Nutting was eventually the target. It goes over him, off the hands of Day. Day looking for teammates. Eventually picked up off the ground by Brodie. Brodie with a hand pass. Now it's with Boki. Boki loses his eyes off the ball for just a moment. It's picked up by Pake. Pake dispossessed, but it all falls fortunately for the Canberra Demons. Goes through hands and winds up with House. House then finding Osborne. No, it's not Osborne. It's a bunt in the middle of the ground. And centre half back, and they're going over the far side. Calling for it in the middle of the ground is Klemke. Instead, they continue to work it around the outside. And that's probably not the best of options. I appreciate that Powell's a good player, but always going to be difficult when it's 3-on-1. Gold Coast, however, don't really take an effective advantage of their numerical advantage. The ball over the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in. It's the 6th or 7th one we've seen from in front of that Rolf Motors sign there. There's been a lot of them just adjacent to the corner of the centre square, and this is another one. Ball back into play. Positioning himself best was Nichols. That's been the story for most of the day, but as has also been the story for most of the day, the Demons then getting the next possession on it. Maguire was one of the players in the middle of it, but ball was going to come back for a free kick to the Gold Coast. Looking up forward, it could be Brodie on for the short ball. It's a slightly longer ball, and it goes instead to Nutting. Now, he seems to have recovered from that twisted ankle earlier in the game. I'm trying to see whether he's actually taken the strapping off his foot, which would be interesting if he's done that now. Ball bouncing around on the ground. Boakey has it. Gets around one. Might get on the end of his own kick. No, in the end it goes to, I think it might have been Mentha. They turn around into the forward line. Bit of high contact, but the ball still in play. It's on the ground. The Suns looking for a shot on goal, but we've got a push in the back.
And they will get a shot on goal.
They will get a shot on goal.
Afraid of the Suns for a push.
I was waiting to see which way the push in the back had been awarded.
Looks like it might be Day again to have a shot. So Sam Day, 1 goal already in this match. As you mentioned, Chris, experienced player in the AFL, battling a number of injuries through his career and starting the 2019 season here in the NEAFL.
Sure, it was a dislocated hip. It's a really difficult injury to come back from. Leans back as he puts it towards the goal, and I don't think he's made a mistake with that. He hasn't. Sam Day has a goal, has his second for the day now. And the Suns move on to 4-3-27. They needed the first. They probably need the next couple, really. Certainly 2 of the next 3 to give themselves a chance to come home over the top of the Demons, but it is still the home side leading 49-27. Here's 6.5 gone in the third quarter.
I think if you're an opposition team playing against the Canberra Demons, you know that most weeks you're going to win the ruck. There are AFL standard ruckmen playing with pretty much every team in the NEAFL, unfortunately except for Canberra, and Josh Maynard is working hard today, but difficult for him up against Tom Nichols. So you know as an opposition side you're going to win the ruck. That means you're probably going to win the clearances. You then need to make the most of your opportunities when you move the ball forward. Sam Day with 2 shots in this quarter, shanked the first one but able to get on the scoreboard the second time round, and he now has 2 goals for the afternoon as we see Nichols, the big ruckman, winning a free in the middle. So again the Suns able to get the clearance. He goes short for Young. Young goes with a high ball inside 50. Big pack. Day again was the target. He couldn't take the mark, and the Demons have the numbers at the fall of the ball. It comes to Bud. Bud goes across goal
danger.
to Carr. Good mark by Harry Carr under a lot of pressure. His kick is for Pollock. Bounces on his way through to him and he fumbles. That lets Boakey in. Boakey feeds it back to Riscatelli. Riscatelli with a centering ball. Crossley left it, and in comes Mitch Maguire. Another disposal, another kick. He kicks it towards Fall. Couldn't take it one-handed, but recovered well. Fall's hand pass is out in front of Osborne. Osborne can't pick it up. That lets Riscatelli come in. Going one way, then the other. A high hand pass from Michael Riscatelli. Good tackle by Evans, but Riscatelli gets it back. His kick isn't with any real direction, but it bounces okay for the Gold Coast. Ends up with Brodie. Brodie goes with a low ball that finds Mentha. Jake Mentha, 1 goal already for him this afternoon. He chips it short to Brodie. Brodie getting a lot of disposals for the Suns. He goes long to the goal square. It's a 1-on-1 contest. Klemke was able to get there to help out for Canberra. He gathers, goes for a bit of a run, then goes off the right foot out towards Bruce. Bruce was at the front. He was just worked underneath it slightly. Will he be quick enough to run onto the ball? The ball's in dispute on the wing. It comes Canberra's way. They'll work it now towards Mitch Hardy, who takes the mark. Attacking edge of the centre square. Goes back into the corridor. This is where the Demons have liked to have the ball so far in this match. Forward hand pass to Evans. Evans from the 50. Kicks it towards goal. And the Demons have their first of the third quarter. They move up to 8-7-55. The Suns 4-3-27.
Well, Evans gets his name in the scorebook for sure. Gets the goal there, combining well with Hardy. Cade Klemke showing some composure at the other end of the park, and that's not the first time today we've seen the Demons go end to end. Pick up a turnover of possession deep inside their own 50 and just work it all the way to the other end of the park and put it through. And good to see Evans back himself there with the long bomb at the end. So the Demons 8-7-55, the Suns 4-3-27, and now the Suns, they really do need the next couple.
And you're right, Chris. Cade Klemke been very solid in defence today. I don't know if they do a coach's award and whether the playing coach is allowed to give himself votes, but he's certainly had a lot of the footy and he's been calm with ball in hand. And that passage of play all started with Cade Klemke, and then once they got the ball towards halfway, they were very keen to get it into the corridor. The Suns win another clearance through Young. Young goes by hand to Brody. Brody off the right foot. Low kick inside 50. No mark. Bud's there for Canberra. Picks it up the second time round. Fed the hand pass backwards. And again, the Demons, despite losing the ruck, losing the clearances, their defence is putting up a good effort to repel these Gold Coast attacks. Osborne gives the hand pass off to Vardaniga. Vardaniga's kick finds Pollock, who gives it back to Vardaniga, who kept on running. Gives it to Highmore. Highmore, long right foot kick. Demons with numbers inside 50. It'll come over the back to Hardy, and Mitch Hardy will run in and kick another goal.
End-to-end stuff again, Eddie. 3
goals on the day for Mitch Hardy. And the Demons have their 9th. They took over to 9-7. 61, they lead the Suns 4-3-27. The margin is out to 34 points.
The shovel is out, and the Canberra Demons are digging a big hole for the Suns to get out of here. This is really starting to turn into a bit of a clinic. The Demons, I just get the feeling, Eddie, and I know it's only early, but they do seem to be backing themselves a little bit more in close quarters. Remember last year we called a number of games where there were turnovers, where perhaps the hand pass to a teammate was on, but they didn't go for it and got tackled and lost the ball. This year there's going to be a lot more willingness, or so far in this game anyway, a lot more willingness to go for that short ball and hit it onto a teammate and back your teammate and really work as a team, and it's paid dividends for them. And they now have back to this 5-goal lead here at Allen Ray Oval in Ainslie. But the Gold Coast once again win the ball out of the centre. Boakey, the target, he very cleverly actually allows it to run, but then can't turn around quickly enough. Chasing onto it is Vardaniga. Vardaniga goes to ground, picked up off the ground by the Gold Coast. Umpire blows the whistle. Holding the ball, says the umpire, and it'll be the Demons to bring it away. Coming up, flying his fall, but he can't take it. Umpire will say that's a push in the back. Unfortunate, but that's the way it goes.
He might have had a shot if he'd marked it.
Well, he might have too. He's only 150 out. Nichols, the man who wound up getting the free kick, played on.
Do you reckon that was a push? Under the new rules where you're allowed to put a hand in the back, I think we're going to see more high-flying marks. Perhaps not a realistic attempt there, though, Chris.
Well, he didn't get anywhere near the ball is the problem. Didn't even if he'd got a hand on the ball, I think he would have been okay. But anyway, ball's still a hot potato down here, right in front of our camera. Brody was one of the players in the middle of the competition, as was McLennan, but it's rebounded once again for the Demons. Picking it up off the turf is Evans. Evans turns around. He's got options. Gives it up towards Bruce. And Aaron
50
Bruce
metre penalty,
gets a 50-metre penalty here. Oh, well, he won't miss this now because he'll kick this from the top of the square. Of course, we do have the new 50-metre penalty rule this year where you can elect to play on at any stage during the awarding of the 50-metre penalty. I think it would be a great way to get yourself shot by the coach, though, to play on in these circumstances. Just wander it in slowly to the top of the square.
So Aaron Bruce, 1 goal early in the match, looking to kick his second, and I don't think he'll make any mistake from here.
From right at the top of the square, puts it through over the goal umpire's hat. And it's another goal to the Canberra Demons. Bruce gets his second for the afternoon. That's the third for this quarter, and the Demons, they're out to a 40-point break now, 10-7-67. The Suns 4-3-27, and it's starting to get a little bit ugly.
Well, the Suns had the momentum at the start of this quarter. Couple of shots on goal to Sam Day. He slotted one of them and trimmed that margin, but since then, the past 10 minutes, Canberra well and truly on top. 3 goals in a row, and even when the Suns do go forward, the Demons are just able to get the ball straight back out, whip it up the other end of the ground, and we've seen goals kicked from pretty close to goal. They've been able to get themselves into simple positions in this quarter to kick those goals. No behinds yet. 3 straight goals in the third quarter for Canberra. As we're back in the middle, the backup ruckman Alex Paik going at it, but Nichols won it down the Gold Coast's way. Interested to see Tom Highmore starting in the centre for Canberra at that bounce. The Suns again get the clearance and the inside 50, but again the Demons able to mop up, and here's that man, the playing coach Cade Klemke. He kicks them out of defence, and again the Gold Coast going forward, but not with any real intent in this third quarter.
Roberts to Paik. Paik goes left, goes right, goes back to the left. It's almost as though he's crossing the street. All comes out though through the Gold Coast again, so they've cut this one off halfway up the turf. We see it with Nichols. Nichols with a short handball, finds back to Curran. Who's that way over there? It might be Saman way over the far side of the ground. Ball's gone out of bounds though.
Canberra free here.
Gone out of bounds or a free kick, one or the other. It's a bit hard for me to pick where the line is. Either way, it'll be a Demons ball. They're going to bring it back in. Instead of working it up the middle, they work it up the line. Pake the target. More Gold Coast red than Canberra Demons blue there, and the ball is punched over the boundary line. Throw in to take place just in front of the scoreboard. 15 minutes about to tick up here. And the Demons have turned a 28-point half-time break to a 40-point lead now. And they'll be looking to put the foot on the throat and really do their percentage some good early in the season. Kick out comes Canberra's way. Waiting underneath it is one of the Hair Bear bunch. It was Evans or Hardy. Whistle to the ground. Ball coming away once again through the Suns. That would be... it was Nutting who wound up with it, but a free kick for a throw comes the Canberra Demons way. They go deep into attack again. Bit of a bump underneath it from Pollock. Pollock turns around and plays on, puts it through the middle. So the Demons, there was a whistle further back the field, so I think the Demons have been given the advantage. And the goal, we're seeing a signal from the umpire, and the flags are waving, so it's another goal. The Demons move on to 11-7-73 to 4-3-27. Reece Pollock has his third for the afternoon.
Well, we asked earlier where do the goals come from, and Reece Pollock has been a revelation this afternoon. 3 goals, getting his hands on the footy a lot as well, with 14 disposals and 4 marks so far. So that's a real bonus. We talked about Bruce, we talked about Hardy, and we talked about Fall being the main avenues to goal. For Reece Pollock to have come in today and kicked 3 goals is a real highlight for the Demons.
Indeed it is. And the other thing that will be delighting Cade Klemke from his position down there in the back line is watching a lot of these balls go through between the big sticks. 11-7 this year, probably would have been 7-11 last year more often than not.
And 4 straight in this quarter as we're back underway in the centre. Maynard back on the ground. He knocked it down, but it went straight to Young. And the Suns again getting the clearance through Brodie. His kick is towards half forward, but again Richardson's there for Canberra. His hand pass, well, it wasn't a hand pass. He's pinged for holding the ball, and the Suns will get a free kick right on half forward. A little bit of push and shove. Umpire comes in to clear it up, and we will see Jacob Heron with the ball, probably just within range. He'll have to kick from just outside 50, going to the Ainslie end. Bright sunshine here in Canberra, looking for a top of around 26 degrees today, and a desperately needed goal here for the Suns.
If they can get it, Heron would probably prefer to have been onto the ball in broken play. He's about the fastest man out there on the field. As we mentioned, made his AFL debut in China. A very short list of players on that list. Puts it just to the right. It curves back a little, but not enough, and through for a point. So the Suns move on to 4-4-28. The Demons 11-7-73. So 46 points the margin.
Just the 7 scoring shots for the Suns so far today compared to 18 for the Demons, which probably highlights how dominant Canberra has been. But the Suns again getting the ball inside 50. The kick was meant for Nichols, but it's all Canberra, and Cade Klemke drops in front to take the mark. Klemke in the number 10 this season, making the move from number 6. Alex Smout has moved to 6. One of the emergencies today. As the Demons, they get the ball out of defence. A long kick towards the wing. Kanash probably got too far in front of the pack. It's knocked towards Nutting. Maguire was there as well. It comes the Gold Coast's way. Young gives off a hand pass now forwards. It comes to Hines. Hines goes inside 50 to Nichols.
Good grab.
And the big ruckman takes a mark. And he'll have no, he won't have a shot on goal. He plays on. Good vision to spot Day, and Sam Day with a chance to kick his 3rd goal.
Oh, sunny day coming up perhaps for him. He'll be getting his 3rd if he can put this one in.
The Suns have looked a bit better in the past few minutes. They're certainly getting plenty of inside 50s, Chris, and we'll check that inside 50 count. They just haven't been able to make the most of their opportunities so far. But Sam Day, pretty straightforward shot. Not much angle to speak of. He'll kick from about 35 metres out. The right foot drop punt. Squeezes it through. Made the goal umpire work a little to the right. But the Suns have their 5th. They're 5-4-34, trailing the Canberra Demons 11-7-73.
Champion data stats, inside 50s, Canberra Demons 32, Gold Coast Suns 28. Rebound 50s, Canberra Demons 23, Gold Coast Suns 21. So,
and that goes to the point that the inside 50s are pretty similar, and yet Canberra is so far ahead on the scoreboard. They've been a lot more efficient when they've been able to go forward, and they've created a lot more space than the Suns have. But on that occasion, Nichols in the forward line, the big tall ruckman, was able to be the target and then dish it off to Day in a good position.
I don't have a breakdown on the field as to where they are, but Mitch Maguire, plenty of possessions for him all over the ground, including inside the back 50. And for Cade Klemke, 20 disposals today, 12 of them by hand, 8 of them by foot. And a lot of those have come off intercepts of other handballs. But it's the Gold Coast Suns on attack now as the clock reaches the 20-minute mark and the ball goes inside their forward 50 yet again. Wait and see what can happen with it under plenty of pressure at the moment. Plenty of players contesting the footy. But it might be the Demons who get away with this. Hand pass bounces off the back of the pack and then rolls over the boundary line. So it's out over the far side of the ground, the boundary line there. And as we move into time added on in this third quarter, well, the Suns, look, they know that last year there were a few games where the Demons tired late. So they'll know that is part of Canberra's history. But Cade Klemke, I suspect, has been doing a lot of that. A lot to make that history, and the Demons will be looking to show that they can be a genuine four-quarter side in 2019. Ball in space, inside the 50 now, outside the forward 50 for the Gold Coast. That's a push, and going to ground is Lockie McDonald. He'll pick up the free kick. One of his teammates decides to abscond faster than someone running from the bail court. But he's called back by the umpire, and McDonald is told that he has to take the kick, so he's about 60 out. A bad-looking kick. It curves back towards goal, and then it's off hands from Brodie's attempted snapshot on goal. Good result for the Gold Coast, actually. They were throwing adjacent to the post, so it's really rebounded off the hands. Can't throw it in from much closer to the goal post. Back into play. Wait and see who can come up with it. As Evans had a go, tried to clear it, then it went to Baker. Baker found a teammate who sent it upfield towards Highmore. Highmore taps it towards Fall, and he's off to the races. Goes for one bounce. He'll go the whole way. Toes 2. He'll go 3. He might go one more bounce if he doesn't run too far. That's 3. And now we'll take a shot from 15 out. Oh, you talk about backing himself for 150 metres. Eddie, he's done just that. Admittedly, had to run 130 of them first.
Well, we said whenever Tom Fall's inside 70, he likes to have a look at the goals. If he's inside the forward half, he likes to have a look at the goals. To be fair to him, there was no one else to look at except for the goals. So he just ran and ran and ran. Nearly ran too far, I reckon, before that third bounce. Just got the bounce away. And Tom Fall, he is arguably the most exciting player in the NEAFL, and that is 2 goals on the day for Tom Fall.
I just wonder if he was thinking about blazing away from 45 and then thought, no, I'll take the bounce, because he would have heard the footsteps behind him, wouldn't know how far the chase was behind him, but he would have known it was closing.
They often do that, don't they? They don't close to quite close enough, and you see the shot come from 45 when they could have run to, say, 35, but smart play from Tom Fall to just run that bit closer to goal and make it a certainty. Crossley wins the hit out and then goes in hard to feed the ball off to Brodie. So the Suns getting another clearance here with Mentha kicking them inside 50, but Baker dropping back into the hole and taking the mark for Canberra. Angus Baker kicks towards the wing. Kick goes over the back of the pack. Evans is there, so is Connor Owen Orban, but the ball goes out of play in front of the scoreboard, which tells us that the Demons lead this match 12-7, 79 to 5-4, 34. 23 minutes gone in the third quarter.
Baker passed 2 dozen disposals for the day now, 15 hand passes, 9 kicks, 5 marks, and again a lot of them in defensive territory for the Canberra Demons, which has done his side an awful lot of good. 12-7, 79, 5-4, 34. Ball going in the direction of that man Baker. He flies, couldn't take it, but again the Demons getting around in numbers. Who's going to be on the end of this one? It may well be Vardaniga in towards the middle, but it's off his hands, plucked away instead by the Suns. Who's up forward for them? Well, it's a one-on-one, bit of a wrestle going on, and it comes off hands to Paik. Now he's got plenty of time. He can go for a bounce, doesn't go for that. Instead decides to put the ball into the open space in front of a teammate in Bud. Bud then tries to obstruct Boki from the Suns. Ball comes back now to Bud, who just slams it forward. Waiting underneath it is Hines. Hines sets himself, gets off balance, gets the ball, taps it up, grabs hold of it, and then puts a wobbly wobbly kick in towards the middle of the ground. Oh, done well has Mentha. He can run and take a shot. Instead he runs and puts it in towards the forward line. It bounces once, it bounces twice, and it might actually be a goal. A little bit of luck goes your way sometimes. And there's one for the Suns, and there's one for Jack Mentha, and it's his second for the day.
I've really liked the look of Jake Hines today, Chris. It was his intercept mark, and he had to juggle it. He had to make sure he was in right position. It was a strong mark that led to that passage of play for the goal. He's one of these Southport-listed players who's in the Gold Coast lineup today. A few injuries in the Gold Coast Suns means they haven't got that many AFL-listed players this week. They've had to call on academy players, but their academy side is playing in the NAB League today, so their best academy players are unavailable. And so they've had to grab a couple of Southport-listed players, including Jake Hines and also Kwabi Boki. So we've got to acknowledge that the Suns haven't got their best team on the park, and they are certainly in the second and third quarters trying to force the Demons to play the game a different way, and now that's 6 goals so far for the Suns. 6-4, 40 to 12-7, 79. A 39-point margin, and we know the Demons do tend to tire. It's early in the season. There'll be players out on their legs in the final quarter. We could see things start to open up for the Suns, particularly if they continue to get so many hit-outs, so many clearances, and so many inside 50s.
I'll tell you who might be done for the day. It may well be Matt Vardaninger. I've just seen him come off, and he's looking thoroughly spent. May have also copped a corky on the left leg, the way he was just limping towards the line there as he got off the field, but he's given plenty today, has Vardaninger. And just to conclude on Jake Hines, he's been impressive today. The Tasmanian recruit, I believe, for the Gold Coast Suns. And got a text from a friend who's watching us down in Hobart during the halftime break as well. So great to have your company wherever you might be around the country. And indeed, I know plenty of people tune in from overseas to NEAFL TV to watch these games live or on replay, wherever you are. Thank you for your company this afternoon. Chris Coleman and Eddie Williams bringing you all the action in this round 1 NEAFL affair between the Canberra Demons and the Gold Coast Suns, and the Demons doing things nicely on their home ground for one game for this season, Allan Ray Oval here in Ainslie. Ball has been thrown in from a boundary, a throw in, brought about 40 metres towards Canberra's advantage and then back over the stripe again. So we'll get another throw in. This one will be exactly on centre wing on the outer side of the ground. 26 and a half gone. Ball comes back into play. Maynard and Nichols go for it once again. In fact, neither of them get a hand on it. They let the ball go to ground, and it comes back once again to the Demons. How many times have the Demons cut off a ball in that part of the ground today? Too many to count. They've got Bud over on the inside on his own, but instead, play goes up the ground. The target was Hardy. He couldn't get there, but one of his teammates has got it. The up and under kick comes, it's going to land about 35 out from goal. Comes off the hands of the pack. Little kick goes through from Pollock. Pollock has a crack at goal. Has he got it through? I think he might have. And that's 4 for the day. Goal umpire will wave both flags. Cricket umpire would go from side to side. Either way, Reece Pollock finds his name in the scorebook again. That's number 4 for him. Number 13 for the Demons, Eddie.
A couple of the young players teaming up there for Canberra, Chris, with Adam Kanash, a very strong mark to then get the ball inside 50. And Pollock, he's a bit of an opportunist. Him and Tom Fall, they're going to have a bit of a battle this year for who can kick those opportunist goals.
Be exciting to watch.
And the Demons, as we say, not relying on those set shots from, say, 50 out. They've been able to get the ball a bit closer to goal, crumb it, and then run in and kick goals from the corridor and not from too far out. And that's why they've been a bit more accurate, particularly in this third quarter. What's that? 6 goals straight.
6 goals in the third quarter. That's not bad. They call it the Premiership quarter. Good signs for the Demons early in this season. And they've got the ball out of the middle again and straight back into attack. Osborne waiting underneath it. Ball goes short of him, tapped away by Jez McLennan. I mean, Hines, who put the kick further forward for the Demons, but it's only for the Suns rather, only as far as Harry Carr. He'd had a quiet day by his standards today, but sends the ball into attack now. There's plenty of red and yellow jerseys back in there, and going up to take the mark was Dawson. He turns around and sends his side, well, still inside 50. Conan puts the ball around the outside. Waiting for it was Paik for the Demons. Punched it towards the boundary line. It stayed in the field of play. Good tackle laid by Richardson. And the ball spills out over the boundary line for another throw-in the busiest part of throw-in territory across the course of this Saturday afternoon so far. 29 gone. So not long till the siren, although we've had a few goals kicked in this third term, so we might get an extra minute compared to what we've had earlier today. Umpires found a whistle Thought it might have been a free kick going to Nichols, but he's popped it off to a teammate. And they work it around the outside, flying there. Might have been Bud way over the far side, went for the punch, ball over the boundary line. Another throw in to take place in the dying stages of the third quarter. Certainly warming up here. I reckon it's gone up 4 or 5 degrees in the last hour or so. Plenty of players sweating fairly heavily. We talked about Connor Nutting from the Gold Coast earlier, who was off the ground getting his foot strapped. He's now sitting on the boundary under a towel, a very wet, icy looking towel as well. Back in play. And for the Demons, Connor Owen Orban making a rare foray up into the forward half by the looks of it. But it's only as far as, once again, the Gold Coast defence. It's a pretty ordinary looking kick, and they're lucky not to be punished for it. As we see, high tackle shrugged off. The ball comes back once again to the Demons. Shot in towards Fall. Oh, he's got himself into space. That's very, very dangerous. You can't afford to do that. And he's able to take just a little leap, takes the jump, takes the mark, and will be probably on more of an angle than he'd like, Eddie, but shouldn't have too much trouble.
He's been impressive today, Tom Fall. Kicked 5 goals in a losing performance against Sydney Uni in the back end of the home and away season last year, and now looking for goal number 3.
So he comes in to try to extend his side's lead above 50. Hits the post as the second poster for the afternoon here at Allen Ray Oval. And it's the first behind for the Demons this quarter. They're on to 13.886. The Suns 6.440. The Suns nearly make a meal of the restart. A little bit of composure shown by Heron. Gets the ball off to a teammate. And they're able to slow things down once again just outside the 50.
So McLennan drives the ball towards the centre of Allen Ray Oval, but he's turned it over. Paik was there. His hand pass couldn't find a teammate. So an opportunity for the Suns to run the ball along that outer wing. The Gold Coast, we've played more than 31 minutes, so a chance for a late goal if they're quick. They go towards half forward. Probably still too far out to score. We just see a long ball towards an open goal square. The Demons' defence didn't get back quickly enough. And that's a bit of poor defending from Canberra not to have anyone on the goal line. And the Suns with a late goal from outside 50, their 7th goal of the match. They move up to 7-4-46. The Demons 13-8-86.
Sam Day inventing the new position in Australian rules football of the goal sneak from 50 metres out.
Goal number 4 for Sam Day. And, well, we're seeing a few bags of goals being kicked today. 4 to Day, 4 to Pollock, 3 to Mitch Hardy. So some of those key forwards, or at least the goal-scoring forwards, are doing exactly that. They're scoring goals. Can't
be long left in this quarter. 32 minutes here.
We have seen, 10 goals altogether for the quarter.
3 of them to Sam Day, and 2 of them to Reece Pollock. So you see how much more there is left in this quarter. Ball goes to Maguire out of the centre circle. He spills it towards Riscatelli, showing plenty of that AFL level class. Sends it out into space in front of Hardy. Hardy can't get the ball. Still tapping it away. Boundary line may win. No. Pack over the top. Ball comes free. And it winds up with Brodie as the siren sounds. So it's a 40-point break here at the final 40-point margin here at the final break. But the Demons leading 13-8-86 to the Suns 7-4-46. And we did say earlier, Eddie, this is the only time we are broadcasting from this ground for the season. The remainder of the Canberra Demons matches at the ground that they unveiled last year at Phillip Oval in the southern suburbs of Canberra. We should mention today, people perhaps who followed the NEAFL for a few years may remember when Canberra had multiple teams in the NEAFL competition, and games were played here at Ainslie on a very regular basis at what was at that stage called Ainslie Oval. It's been renamed subsequently to that to Allen Ray Oval Ainslie. And Allen Ray, a true servant of the Ainslie Football Club, not just the Ainslie Football Club, but football as well. Believe it or not, about 68 years he gave to the Ainslie Football Club from 1946 to 2014. All of it as a volunteer, as a player, administrator, mentor, the man who, one of the men who helped to turn the Ainslie Football Club not just into a football powerhouse, but into a monetary powerhouse. They've got a very good licensed club just a couple of hundred metres up the the road from this ground. He played his first footy as an under-15 junior in 1946, 186 senior games, a mere 3 best and fairest and 4 premiership flags. So a great name in Ainslie football history and a great name, man, for this ground to be named after.
And a very successful club even in recent years as well, Chris. And Josh Maynard, an Ainslie product, a triple premiership ruckman with the Tricolours in the AFL Canberra competition. Just quickly, real credit to Mitch Maguire and the Canberra midfield. The Suns midfield is strong. They're winning the ruck. They've got Michael Riscatelli, a very experienced 236-game AFL player, and I think there's no doubt that Mitch Maguire and the Canberra midfield have been on top in the midfield battle today, as we see the Canberra Demons taking a 40-point lead into three-quarter time here at Allen Ray Oval.
Three-quarter time at Allen Ray Oval in Ainslie, and it's the Canberra Demons with a comfortable cushion at the moment. They lead 13-8-86 over the Gold Coast Suns 7-4-46. Elsewhere in the NEAFL this afternoon, it's three-quarter time at Blacktown, where Sydney Uni doing it easily over Aspley. Sydney Uni 7-4 10-14-74 to Aspley 5-6-36. And at Giants Stadium, it's the big one. They don't get much bigger than the Giants v the Swans, and it's the Giants by 1 point deep into the second term there, 7-4-46. And the Swans, in fact, have just kicked a goal, so the Swans have now taken the lead, 7-9-51 to the Giants, 7-4-46, and that's 33 minutes gone in the second quarter, so that late goal may prove crucial in that real arm wrestle there. But here in your NEAFL TV, big game for today. It is the Demons leading the Suns 86-46, and plenty of players having a big day. We were talking earlier about Reece Pollock. He would have enjoyed the curtain raiser as well as this main game today, Eddie.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. Reece Pollock, a Marist College junior here in Canberra, and Marist with a comprehensive win in the Rising Stars match against Queanbeyan before this game. Made his NEAFL debut back in 2017, spent last season with the Giants Academy and now back in Canberra Demons colours this year, and he's already added a lot to their forward line. 4 goals to Reece Pollock to three-quarter time. Mitch Hardy has 3, Aaron Bruce and Tom Fall with 2 goals each as we wait for the fans to leave the field of play. Singles to Mitch Maguire and Cal Evans. Sam Day with 4 of the 7 goals to the Gold Coast Suns, while Braden Crossley has 1 and Jake Menther has 2. Everyone's off the field. The umpire ready to get play underway in the final quarter. The Canberra Demons taking a 40-point lead into the final half hour of footy. Can they hold on, or can the Suns pull a rabbit out of their hat? Tom Nichols wins the opening hit out. It comes down into the path of Will Brodie, but it's taken the Demons' way, and Highmore kicks a high ball towards half forward. Can't find a target, and a chance for the Suns to rebound off half back. They're chipping it around on the outer side of the ground. Brodie back with the flight. Plays on quickly. Goes with the long kick inside 50. Day the target again. Nudged underneath it there by Bud. Baker came in to take the crumb. Hands it off to Klemke. Klemke's kick finds Highmore, who marks near half back. He goes short to Maguire, who takes the mark down low. Mitch Maguire a little quieter in that third quarter, but still 25 disposals so far for this match. His kick couldn't find a target, and that lets the Suns go inside 50 again. Riley Budd read that one best, and he takes the relieving mark for the Canberra Demons. Just waits, waiting for an option. He's got Maguire on short, elects to go a little longer than that to the lead of Highmore, who marks on the chest.
Bud's 13th disposal for the day. Seems like he's had a lot more than that. So making his presence known. Maguire, a man who's always making his presence known, sends the Demons into attack once again. They only get as far as the centre wing position on the far side of the ground. Ball in dispute. Now it comes back into the forward line. Might be Moline underneath it. It's not, but the play goes forward. It might have been Kanash again. One of the new players we've got to get used to for the Canberra Demons. But the Suns come in, cut things off. Playing in front will help them, but they've got to turn playing in front into points on the scoreboard at the moment, and working it from side to side isn't going to do much for them. Menther runs into space. The lead is ignored. Sam Day runs into the space recently vacated by Menther. Ball comes off his hand. Picked up off the ground by Baker, who's moving at speed. He sends the ball in towards Richardson. Richardson shorthand pass. That's with Kanash. Ash puts a kick in towards centre half forward, but it comes free. Picked up off the ground by Young for the Suns, and they turn it around once again. Get towards the middle of the ground. There's the man with the hair. He's the cult figure. Braden Crossley started things off well with the Suns with the first goal for the day, but relatively quiet since then. Now they're bringing it back up the middle of the park for the Suns, and that is a Boakey. Boakey sends it up to the vacant spaces up in the forward 50. Brumley was the target, but he couldn't do much. He was out-muscled. And Klemke helps to clean up, and once again the Demons send the ball a long way around the outside of the ground, but it's cut off by Jez McLennan for the Suns. Finds a teammate inside. They are playing in front, but they're all short options. Heron calling for it at the centre circle. Would have always been a backwards step for them. Boakey waiting underneath it. Actually did well. Has a teammate in Crossley. Crossley can turn and shoot from 50 out. Oh, that's not a bad shot. He's put it through. Well, he got the first, and he's got another one in the fourth quarter, and he's closed the gap a little bit, but they've still got plenty of work to do. The Canberra Demons remain 13-8-86. The Suns on to 8-4-52, but It'll be quite a comeback if they can engineer this one, Eddie.
Well, the cult status of Braden Crossley continues to grow. 2 goals so far. He's been one of the Suns' better players, and the Suns all over the Demons in the first 3.5 minutes of this final quarter. First game of the season. There'll be a few players huffing and puffing in this last quarter. Things could open up, and as we've been saying, the Suns have been dominating the ruck and the hit-outs. They've pretty much broken even on inside 50s. So if they can start to convert a few more of those opportunities, they could start to peg things back a bit on the scoreboard. It's a long way back, though. The Suns, 8-4-52, trailing Canberra, 13-8. 86. Back in the centre, Brody gives it to Riscatelli. So the Suns midfield starting to step up. A very high ball from Riscatelli. Heron underneath it, takes a nice mark, plays on, goes for a run. Heron, a low kick inside 50 to Day. And Sam Day can go back and have a look at goal number 5.
They did well to get in front there. This will be 2 in a minute for the Suns. Let's just remember, the Canberra Demons, while they're Canberra's top flight AFL, or top flight Aussie rules side, I should say, they are semi-professional. These players have day jobs and so on. The Gold Coast Suns, largely made up of players who are playing football for a living. And fitness, as you said, Eddie, may well come into the equation. We saw it a few times last year. Day unable to convert. Turns it into a minor score, 8-5-53 they will move on to, and the Demons 13-8-86. So the Demons have to put together a 4-quarter performance and bring the ball out once again. It was 21 on 21, Leslie on Vardaniga, and the boundary line wins the contest. It'll be a throw-in.
Good to see Vardaniga back out there on the field. He was
he
getting a little bit of attention earlier,
20 minutes ago.
But he's made his way back into this match as the umpire prepares to throw the ball in near half forward for the Gold Coast. Nichols gets in front of Maynard, won it down with 2 hands to Riscatelli. His kick was smothered, but Riscatelli goes again. Goes with a high ball inside 50. Crossley drops the mark and it goes over the boundary line. We'll have a throw-in inside 50 for the Gold Coast, and they're the little opportunities that the Suns need to take in this final quarter. They need a lot to go their way if they're going to get back into this match. Nichols starts in front of Maynard again. Josh Maynard on debut today with the Canberra Demons. He won the hit-out probably that time, Maynard. Couldn't really get it decisively to a teammate, but eventually the kick comes out. Owen Orban knocks it on, but Boakey's going to be the first there. Boakey can't pick it up the first time or the second, but gets it the third time. Then he's met by Bruce, so he got the hand pass away. Now the kick inside 50 for the Gold Coast. Again, Day in best position. Can't juggle the mark, but he was being held. And Sam Day again will get a look at goal number 5.
Hearing plenty of chatter drifting up to us in our commentary position here from the Gold Coast bench. And just hearing, here we go. So they still fancy their chances here, this Gold Coast side. They know that they can get goals in a hurry. And Sam Day providing a willing target for them down there, which they were lacking through most of the first half.
Sam Day pretty much directly in front. He'll kick from about 35 metres out. The right foot drop punt is a goal. 5 goals for Sam Day. Couple of goals to start the final quarter. It's been all Gold Coast through the first 7 minutes. And the margin is back to 27 points. Canberra, 13-8-86. The Suns, 9-5-59.
Don't know if you believe in scoring ends on a day where there's not much wind around, but interestingly enough, we've had 22 goals kicked here today, and unless my maths has gone astray, 16 of them have gone to that southern end or to the right of screen here at Allen Ray Oval this afternoon. And the Gold Coast, well, that's the direction they're going in. They've still got to bag another 5 at this stage to overcome the Canberra Demons, and you'd reckon for Canberra probably 2 more would be enough. Maybe even 1 more would be enough. Ball down in the middle. This will come back for a secondary restart. And I think that Maynard and Nichols may be tiring just a little because neither of them seem terribly keen to go chasing that one earlier in the day. There were a couple that were on the edge of the circle that they really went for, but they let those ones go. Tap down one by Nichols. Ball comes in the Gold Coast direction once again. Evans tries to get there, but he's outrun by his opposite number in Young. But the ball again coming away for the Canberra Demons. Tapped around by Beeman. Beeman puts it into the hands of Evans for the Demons. He finds Maguire, who had an extended 3-quarter time break. He's back on the field now. Maynard to a teammate. Back to Maynard. Decides to settle things down. Goes for the short ball. Back to Bud. Bud has plenty of time. Can look around. Finds Harry Carr. Carr also slows things down. This is smart play by the Demons. They know that the longer they take to make things happen, the less time there is for the Gold Coast to do anything with it. Pollock was on his own. Ball wound up with him. Now that would have to be Hardy because Evans is on this side of the ground. Now right over the far side of the ground. And I have absolutely no idea. You going to take a stab for us, Ed?
I thought it might have been Bruce.
Could have been Bruce. Well, he's not taking the shot at goal. Instead, puts it inside the 50. And again, this is smart play. This is very smart play from the Demons.
And it's Jack Powell, and we hear that phrase, it's probably a bit overused, but the phrase lowering the eyes, that's exactly what Aaron Bruce did there. Didn't blaze away to the top of the goal square. Saw that there was an option a little shorter. And Jack Powell to shoot for his first goal of the day.
Does two things, increases the chances of it being a goal and also takes another 40 or so seconds off the clock, and Powell makes no mistake. The goal umpire does not have to move. So Powell joins the goal scoring list for the Canberra Demons. By my reckoning, the seventh goal scorer for them across the course of the afternoon, and that may just be enough to put the icing on the cake. 14-8-92 for the Demons, the Suns 9-5-59.
A real steadying goal there for the Demons, and Jack Powell's been pretty good today. 17 disposals, and importantly, his pressure around the ball, his forward pressure, has allowed the Demons to make a few opportunities, and good to see Jack Powell getting on the scoreboard for the first time this afternoon. And as you say, that lead now back out to 33 points. 10 minutes played makes things pretty tricky for the Gold Coast.
The Gold Coast have got the last three goals, one deep into the third quarter and then two to start this fourth quarter. So momentum important in footy, but it's been stopped at the moment, and 10 minutes gone, as you said, Eddie. Ball just stays inside the centre circle. Tap down is won by the Suns, but immediately it's the Demons into attack again. Osborne, I think it was, with the kick deep into attack. Now the ball into the path of Powell. He got one a second ago, and he's got his... Oh, no, he's just sprayed it. He's just sprayed it, and I don't know how you missed from that close. Can I say, though, Eddie, that's the first time today I think we've seen a player go to kick it through on one of those dribbly kicks. I'm a big fan of just bang it through. Don't worry about putting it down on the ground. Just bang it through at shoulder height. Low percentage play, low percentage score, and the Demons on to 14-8-92. The Suns 9-5-59. But the Demons will get a chance to rebound here because the Suns have been unable to hang on to possession. Highmore decides instead to go out into the pocket. Oh, dangerous play, and that may have gone out of bounds. It has. So that's gone wrong in all sorts of ways.
Would have been a clever kick if it could have stayed in play. Tom Highmore spending a lot of time in the midfield this week. He spent most of last season in defence, and there was talk of him perhaps being in the forward line for much of this season. Tom Highmore, a very versatile player in his 50th NEAFL match. Paik probably won that hit out against Nichols. Maguire gets a 1 metre kick away. Big contest around the footy, inside 50 here for Canberra. Maguire waiting for it to come out. Nichols won the hand pass, and it'll go the Gold Coast's way. Mark couldn't be taken there by McDonald under pressure from Klemke. Baker with a floating kick inside 50. No mark. Suns with numbers at the fall of the ball. Will Brodie waiting for it. It doesn't get to him. Instead, Hines takes the mark just inside the field of play. He's got McDonald on short. That's where he goes. And Lockie McDonald takes the overhead mark in front of Owen Orban. Goes by hand to Heron. Heron has to give it off quickly as the Suns run the broadcast side of the ground. Here's Saman. Saman rolls onto his left foot. Kicks it high in the Boakey direction. He's up against Roberts. Vardaniga came in to lend a hand for Canberra. Still Boakey goes in hard, but Roberts wins the footy. Hands it back to House. House goes with a short kick to Carr. Can't reel it in with one hand. Picks it up off the ground. Then goes short and finds his captain in Bruce. Bruce just goes down the line. And that's a good mark by Kanash. Kanash looks into the corridor and spots up Hardy. Hardy goes by hand, and now the Demons are off and running. They get inside 50. The ball comes to the top of the goal square. Moline can't keep it in. It's over for a behind. The Demons tick over to 14... what's that, Chris? 14-10 94 to 9-5-59 as the sun shines on the electronic scoreboard.
The Canberra Demons will be looking to crack the ton here this afternoon. They're a goal short of that, and they'll get the ball back in half-back because the Demons have tried to go up the middle of the ground and just run out of players to kick to. Runner nearly gets in the way. That's why they changed the laws at AFL level. The Demons have done okay, and now it's with Baker. Baker finds the ball on the outside to Highmore. Highmore hand passes to Evans. Evans goes for a run, goes for a kick now up into the forward line. Moline was down there before. He's still down there, in fact, but there's 3-1 in favour of the Suns. Ball is free, waiting to see what can happen here. The Suns, well, they've got it out here, and they give it back to one of their best today in Hines, and Hines clears the ball only as far as the 50. Flying there might have been Beeman. Ball goes to ground. Chasing into it is Mentha. Ball tapped away now. Cleared to Crosley. Crosley gets it onto Young, and Young, his kick smothered. There's another smother. I don't have stats for smothers today, Eddie, but you'd say during the break there, you reckon that
a lot of Demon smothers
today.
and not too many that we can think of from the Suns, Chris. Canberra are applying enormous pressure whenever the Gold Coast has the ball, and we get a throw in here in front of the Gold Coast Suns interchange bench.
Having a throw in close to our broadcast position today, but that one's right in front of us. As it goes into the air, Pake taps it down with both hands to Highmore, who, well, maybe the potato just a little bit too hot, and ball winds up back over the boundary line. Eddie, you can take this throw in.
Well, Pake was uncontested there and perhaps could have made a bit more of that opportunity, but we get another boundary throw in, and the two preferred ruckmen, Nichols and Maynard, back on the ground. Nichols wins it down to Young. Young dishes it off, and now the kick comes from McDonald inside 50. Baker can't take the mark for Canberra, but he recovers. Feeds it off to House. House turns one way then the other, gets in and out of trouble. His hand pass wasn't a great one. It allowed Saman in for the Gold Coast. Baker goes again, just gets the kick away to Pake. Pake got a hand pass away just in time to House, who gave it to Osborne. Osborne looks for Maynard, and Maynard takes the mark on the chest on the defensive 50 in front of Kwabi Boki. So Josh Maynard kicks towards the wing. One-on-one contest. Tom flew up against Young. It was Graham there for the Suns. No one could take the mark. Evans knocked it to Fall. Fall's hand pass is speculative, but it gets its way through to Pollock. Reece Pollock met by Nutting, holding the ball. Free kick to the Gold Coast Suns.
Just want to wind you back a second, Eddie, to that kick from Maynard down there. I did a quick count. While Maynard was lining up for his kick, there were 8 Gold Coast Suns players within, I'd reckon, 30 metres of him. And there were a lot of blue jerseys for the Canberra Demons further up the ground that were unopposed. That's been a problem for the Demons all day. I was just trying to get a bit of a count on it.
Bud with the footy now inside defensive 50 for Canberra. Gives it off to Richardson. His kick finds Carr. Couldn't take the mark. Recovers. Gives the hand pass off to Powell inside defensive 50. Now they're off and running again, Canberra. Into the middle of Allen Ray Oval. No mark. Now a chance for Crossley for the Gold Coast. His kick is to Young. Getting a lot of the ball in this final quarter. Young, low kick inside 50. Bounces on its way through to Saman. Now it comes off to McDonald. Now the flying shot on goal from Corey Beeman, and he's kicked it. So the Suns, they're putting up a good fight in this final quarter. I don't think it'll be enough, but that's 10 goals now for the Gold Coast. They move to 10. What's that?
10-5-65. Geez, hard to read with the sun on it, yeah.
The scoreboard just added a couple of goals there, but it's 10-5-65. The Demons are 14-10-94. The margin down to 29 points, 16 and a half gone, final quarter.
Yeah, the Gold Coast getting a bit to take home here as a consolation prize, and the Canberra Demons, well, they'll know they've still got to do a bit more fitness work here or a bit more endurance work in there. Nice work from Beeman too, the burly boy. The local products in this Gold Coast Suns side, and well done him to get his name into the scorebook this afternoon. Change in the ruck here for the Gold Coast Suns. It's Crosley up against Maynard, and it's the Demons who come away with it. Maynard getting the tap now, waiting underneath a very high ball was Evans. Couldn't do much with it, and it's been tapped away again to the advantage of the Suns. Well, if they get another one here, they'll feel that they've got a sniff again. There's plenty of defence going on here from the Canberra Demons. Roberts tries to hang on to the ball, loses it. I think he's gone over the boundary line. He has. Umpire signals as much.
Kel Evans just coming off looking a bit ginger after that last contest, Chris. He's favouring one leg, and he goes off to the bench with Tom Highmore replacing him. Aaron Bruce comes on for Adam Kanash.
There's a fairly heavy bit of contact there late in the game. Gold Coast get the better of it from the throw in. It winds up with Young. He takes a snap from about 40 out right on the boundary line. Well, I may have made the call about goal of the day back in the first quarter a wee bit early. That one's pretty good. And Aaron Young, durable AFL player in the past, gets his first for the afternoon. And the Suns, well, they're not giving up. They're not going home without a fight. 11-5-71. The Demons 14-10-94. We're still on into time on here.
And he stepped up in this quarter, Aaron Young. 25 disposals on the afternoon. He gets his first goal there. And Kel Evans looks in a little bit of pain. Hard to tell whether it's cramp or whether it's something more. He does look to be in a fair bit of pain, receiving some treatment on both of his, his upper leg, on both legs from a couple of the Canberra Demons trainers, just above his knee, sort of in the quad, we call that, don't we?
The quad.
Yeah.
That'd work, yes. Ball back in the middle. 23 points the difference. And the Gold Coast suddenly coming home like a steam train. Brodie takes it out of the middle, taps it off to the side, and again it's into the forward area for the Demons, or for the Suns rather. Underneath it, the reliable Bud puts the ball, in dangerous territory. It's kicked off the ground, more in hope than anything else. And the Demons, they rush away. Bud's come back around onto it, goes for the long ball. Let's get out of dodge. Punch comes, goes over towards the boundary line from Bruce. He might get a second chance at it because Owen Orban wasn't able to escort it out of play on the first attempt. Did so on the second. There's just a little bit of nervousness around this ground at the moment. The Demons, they've only got one this quarter. I said they might need two to be sure of things, Eddie, and that may still be the case coming up to the 20-minute mark.
Boundary throw in. Nichols and Maynard. Nichols won it down from the back, but it goes back over the boundary line, and we'll have another throw in between wing and half forward for the Gold Coast as we get closer to time on. 19 and a half minutes played in the final quarter. Canberra holding on to a 23-point lead, but the Suns are coming home pretty hard. And I don't think we'll see Kel Evans back on the field in this quarter. So perhaps with one less rotation, the Demons might just be out on their legs a little more than they otherwise would be. A free kick here for a bit of high contact. It'll go the Gold Coast's way. So another opportunity for them to take the ball inside 50. The kick does come towards half forward. Brodie back with the flight, takes the mark in front of Don Roberts. Probably too far out to score. He's got nothing on short. He just puts it to the top of the square. Day and Crossley are the targets. Day knocks it down. Boakey slipped over. Richardson can't pick it up. It's over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in inside 50 for the Gold Coast. And a chance for them to try and create something for this stoppage, and for Tom Nichols to try and use his advantage in the ruck to get the Suns another goal. He'll be up against Josh Maynard again. Maynard worked his way in front, but it fell to Nichols at the back. Nichols then laid a tackle. Maynard on the ground. It spills to Highmore. Highmore's kick is high. It's wide. It's out of bounds on the full. And it'll be a free kick to the Gold Coast, and they could be within range here.
It was a real rugby union up and under kick, and I'm not quite sure what the aim of the exercise was from Tom Highmore, but this will be. Will there be a shot on goal, or will he go for a man at the top of the square? The Gold Coast have got plenty of men in territory, and it is indeed aimed at the top of the square. Plenty fly. Oh, look at him go. The big fella with the big hair and the big mo. Braden Crossley takes the mark, and he's taken it very cleverly just inside the goal square, comes back out, doesn't muck around, and puts it through at height. He gets his third for the afternoon. What's that for the Gold Coast this quarter? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals this quarter.
And 3 goals today for Braden Crossley, one of the Suns' better players. And clever play there, getting it to the top of the square, looking for those 2 big targets in Day and in Crossley. And as we enter time on, it's a 17-point ball game, and the Suns are still in this. Well,
the Suns have just been everywhere this final term. And as you said, Eddie, down to a 17-point ball game. 14-10-94 the home side. The Suns 12-5-77. We've got the close one here at Allen Ray Oval.
Riscatelli's lifted in this quarter as well. I could hear from the Suns coaches box, which is near us, one of the coaches speaking to Michael Riscatelli on the ground in the third quarter. And I think he's a bit of a... He's not the captain, but he's obviously a very experienced player and an on-field leader. And he's really helped to drive their comeback in this final quarter as they get the ball working forward again here, the Gold Coast. Brodie couldn't run through the 2 Demons. Umpire calls play on. Hardy went in hard. Came out to Richardson. His hand pass was for Maguire. Maguire gathers, gets the hand pass away, but it's cut off by Hines. Hines to Nichols. Nichols gave it off to Heron. Now the kick comes inside 50. Nutting. He takes the mark just inside 50. He points towards the goal square. I'm not sure if he'll have enough in his legs to get this one through, but he looks like he's shaping to take the shot.
Just looking in back play, there's a Demons player down, and I think it might be Mitch Maguire. And they're looking at his right leg. You watch this, Eddie. I'll keep an eye on the...
Connor Nutting's kick isn't going to score. It's going to fall short in the left forward pocket. It goes off the hands of Harry Carr. And we'll have a boundary throw-in, a couple of metres around from the Suns' left behind post. It does look... I think that is Mitch Maguire.
It is Maguire. I can tell you, going by the way they're holding the leg up, if it's not cramp, then I don't know what it is.
Umpire throws the ball back in. Kanash had to do the ruck against Nichols that time. Vardaniga pokes it off the ground. It was a clever poke, but it didn't go 15 metres, so the umpire said play on as Maguire is being brought to his feet by one of the Canberra trainers. It looks like he'll be able to walk not quite unassisted.
I wouldn't be calling that walking.
Heavily favouring one leg, Chris, so a concern there for Canberra as the Suns get the ball working forward again. But the Demons working overtime in defence, and Tom Highmore back with the flight takes a strong mark as Maguire now starting to jog from the ground himself, but it looks like a problem there with his right leg, I'd say, Chris, perhaps his right knee.
The way I think it's a hammy. I think it's a cramp in the hammy by the looks of it. By the way they were stretching the leg out, and by the way
he's clutching the back of his leg.
When he got up, the way he was walking as though he was a mummy who'd just been brought out of the tomb in a horror movie and not bending the right leg at all. That's usually a dead giveaway. That's a pretty severe cramp, but I don't know if we'll see much more of him this afternoon. Roberts now with the ball for the Demons. He can take a bit of time and does so. In the end, bangs it forward. He's looking for fall. It doesn't go far enough there. And is that man Hines again? Gee, he's been prolific today. Shapes to go out towards the boundary and then decides, nope, going to work it straight up the middle of the ground. Puts it towards Crosley. Crosley can't take the mark. It goes to ground. Picked up by Boakey. Boakey's kick. Yet another smother. It was Klemke who's playing a bit further up the ground now. Into the path of Crosley though. Crosley with a teammate. Now quick ball over to Nutting. This man was on one leg earlier today. Now he's moving like Usain Bolt. Goes inside the 50. Puts it towards goal. It starts off to the right and it just stays inside the right post. It's another goal. Wow. Are the Demons going to cough this one up? That's a goal to Nutting, a man who was on one leg a little while ago. It's his first for this afternoon. And the Suns, well, they're within 2 goals now. 13-5-83. The Demons, 14-10-94. Shake your head. Look stunned. This is footy. This is NEAFL footy. And we've got a really exciting finish coming up here at Allen Ray Oval this afternoon. And the Demons are starting to go down in numbers, Eddie. I can see coming off the ground. You've got Guy Richardson. He looks spent. Stretching just off the ground is Reece Pollock. He doesn't look like he's got much left in the tank. I think Kel Evans has actually made his way back out onto the ground.
He's just run into the forward 50, but of course the Demons' best player, Mitch Maguire, has come from the ground, and the margin is just 11 points. And Connor Nutting is a bit like Lazarus. He's only had the 9 touches, but there have been some important ones towards the back end of this match, and the intensity has lifted. The umpire's paid a free for a hold. It's going the Gold Coast's way. Everything starting to go the Gold Coast's way in this final quarter. We've played more than 26 minutes. They come out to the wing and they've got a heap of space here, the Gold Coast, but they want to get it back into the corridor. Brodie goes with the very quick hand pass to McDonald. Now the kick inside 50 to Day. And he dives in and takes the mark just inside 50. Now he's cramping up.
It's very warm here.
It's amazing how you can recover from cramp, though, if you're in the opportunity to have a shot on goal. And Sam Day, if he can make the distance, could kick his 6th.
24 degrees here in Canberra now.
He's just going to go short. Not a great kick. Alex Paik sits back and takes the mark for Canberra. And the Canberra fans pretty relieved as Alex Paik starts to cramp up.
Oh.
It looks like Mitch Maguire is going to come back onto the ground in a moment, Chris. So I guess just a bit of cramp for him as Tom Fall, best position. Fall falls, couldn't take the mark. The Suns win the ball. They come inside 50. Crossley can't mark. Here's Young. Young gets around 1, then had to give the hand pass off. Klemke running after the footy. Gets there, gathers, tackled, gets the hand pass free to Highmore. Highmore gives it off to Powell. Powell's met by 3 Suns. He managed to get it away to Hardy. Hardy's put it into space, but Brodie runs onto it for the Gold Coast. Comes to Hines. Hines gets around Owen Orban. Hines with a tumbling punt towards full forward. Nutting best position. Can't take the mark. Helse is there. Spills to Bud. Bud absorbs a bit of pressure. Eventually gets the hand pass to Highmore. Highmore hand passes into the corridor. A dangerous pass. Bud tackled by Nutting. Gets the hand pass away. Osborne is there. Osborne off the left. Kicks it towards the centre. No mark. Here come the Gold Coast. Inside 50. It's all Canberra, and Ben Helps slides in to take the relieving mark.
Well, the Demons have played in front all day. They've been backing their short game all day. In the last 5 minutes, perhaps they haven't quite done as much of that as they were doing earlier. Go back to what was in the game plan and see if it can see you home. They've still got almost a 2-goal margin, but the ball now over the boundary line. 28.5 gone. Canberra need the ball up the other end, a long way up the other end. The Gold Coast get this one. It only takes them 10 seconds to score a secondary one. So, ball back into the field of play. It's a big high throw in from the umpire. It goes to ground. Nichols gets the tap on. Goes to a teammate. Dispossessed. Ball running free. Rolls over the boundary line. Another 5 metres closer to the goals. 29 minutes elapsed. Now, there'll be plenty of time here. Gold Coast kicked 6 this quarter. Canberra kicked 1, so 7 goals so far for the quarter. Usually after NEAFL footy to see us out to about a 32-minute term. Gold Coast with the ball. Juggling, more juggling than you'd see in a clown ring at a circus, but the ball comes away towards Pollock. Pollock just with the clearing kick. There's nobody past the centre line in this ground at the moment. And they've got players over on this side of the ground. Hines was there. Instead, back into congested territory. Underneath it was Pollock for the Demons. Instead, a rushed kick goes out on the full, and out on the full by quite some margin as well, into the old scoreboard here at Ainslie. 29.45 gone. The Demons will bring the ball back into the field of play, and I don't think there's got it back in, and they're trying to play quick footy. Not necessarily the smartest move, but they've got it back. Now it's with Fall. He's in the unaccustomed area of being in the halfback. And the Demons once again with a clearing kick, hoping to get it out over the boundary line. We've got a bit of a hold, and the Demons now will get a free kick on the halfback flank.
Well, a bit of relief here for Canberra Demons fans. They win the ball on the wing. The short kick is okay, and they'll just look to chew up a bit of time on the clock here as Mitch Maguire goes back. He'll use his full allotment of time and wait for the umpire to call into play on. Chips it short to Hardy. Suns need to play man-on-man footy here if they're going to win the ball back and have any chance of winning the match. Pake. The ball makes its way to Cade Klemke, the playing coach, and he'll be breathing a sigh of relief. His side, the Canberra Demons, claim a win in their first match of the NEAFL season. It's the Demons, 14-10-94, just holding on against a fast-finishing Gold Coast side who finished on 13-9-83.
What can you say about that one?
13-5-83, I should say, Chris. It was all Canberra early. The Gold Coast improved a little in the second quarter. The Canberra Demons came hard again in the third. And then the Suns, with a wet sail in that last quarter, they just gave themselves a bit too much work to do. Very difficult to peg back a 40-point lead at three-quarter time. And in the end, that deficit was just too much for them to eat into.
I've got someone in the back of the box here who's played a lot of footy on this ground. Is there a slope on this ground to that southern end? Thumbs up, thumbs down. There is a slope down that end. I was going to say there'd have to be. Don't know if it's worth quite that many goals, but we saw Canberra kick 5 goals to the southern end to the right of screen in the first quarter. Then the Suns kicked 2 in the second. Canberra kicked 6 in the third, and the Gold Coast kicked 6 in the fourth. So certainly the scoring end, but boy, what a game of footy we've had here, and full credit to the Gold Coast Suns for not giving up and really having a crack. Sam Day, 5 goals for them this afternoon. Braden Crosley, 3 goals, 2 to Jack Mentha, and 1 apiece to Corey Beeman. Connor Nutting, who, given that he was basically on one leg early in the game, remarkable to see him contribute so much, and Aaron Young in there as well. For the Demons, it was 4 goals to Pollock, 3 to Hardy, 2 to Fall, and Bruce, and singles to Maguire, Powell, and Evans. But boy, what a game we've had this afternoon. And plenty of players out there who've given their all. Brodie winding up with 20 kicks for this afternoon. Riscatelli with 21. Really injected himself into the game late in proceedings. Maguire 21 kicks and playing on one leg at the end. And then for the Canberra Demons, there were a whole host of players with 10, 11, 12, 13.
Well, what a day out at the footy. Free entry here at Ainslie. A healthy contingent of Canberra Demons fans who'll be going home very happy. An entertaining match, and a day for the big forwards. A day for a few bags of goals. As you said, Pollock with 4, Hardy with 3, Crossley with 3, and Sam Day kicking 5 goals, putting his hand up for a return to the AFL with the Gold Coast Suns. Canberra need to be careful with these last quarter fade-outs. They were overrun a few times last season. They'll want to make sure that doesn't happen in season 2019, but they'll be very pleased to take the 4 points in round one.
They will indeed. A big test for them next week. It's always tough to go and play the Queensland sides for Canberra, and that's what they've got next week to go up to Redland. That's on Saturday next week, the venue Scottsdale Park. And then looking forward to the next one, which you'll get with us on NEAFL TV out of Canberra. Good Friday footy, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Can't think of too much I'd rather be doing on Good Friday in the afternoon than being at the footy at Phillip Oval. Southport will be the opponents. It was a great affair last year when it was the season opener. Easter a little bit later this year, and that's the next game, or the next couple of games for the Canberra Demons. For the Gold Coast Suns, well, they've got a tough test next week, but having shown that they've got plenty in the tank here against the Demons this afternoon, the Sydney Swans will be maybe a little bit anxious and having a look over their shoulder. That one being played as a curtain raiser to an AFL game, because that's an 11 a.m. start next Sunday. The Swans the Swans at the Gold Coast Suns, and then on Saturday the 20th of April it's the Suns versus the Giants, that one at Blacktown, and that one they'll be kicking the dew off the ground, a 10:30 a.m. start. Well, that's tough. That's tough to be playing footy at 10:30 in the morning.
Well, at full time here at Allen Ray Oval in Ainslie, the Canberra Demons 14-10-94. They've beaten the Gold Coast Suns by 11 points, 13-5-83. Chris Coleman and Eddie Williams signing off here on NEAFL TV.